Odyssey Sports Station.
Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air. Deep left field. Way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer. And baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM Sports Station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
It is finally here. Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you as we are getting you prepared for round one of the NFL Draft. The Royals are off today, so we are not going to be preempted by their ability to score 2 runs and lose today. We got the full 4-hour show. We are going to have a lot of fun. We are going to be joined in studio by Jay Binkley coming up in about 15 minutes. We will take phone calls. We will read text. There is not a single person in Kansas City who is better prepared to talk draft than our dear friend Jay Binkley. He's going to be in studio coming up in about 15 minutes. Eric Edholm of NFL.com is also going to join us on the show. We're going to go around the country and find out what the Jets are thinking at number 2. We're going to find out what Tennessee might do with the number 4 overall pick. We're going to do a whip around. I got shouted out by one of the most famous people in sports. We'll play that for you as the show goes on today. We got a lot to get to in today's show. But before we do any of that, I need to remind you of a couple of things. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number 2, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number 3, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the open of the show each day is brought to you by our dear friends over at The Other Place. So if you're looking for a place to stop in, catch a little bit of the NFL Draft, you also can watch some baseball. We also got the NBA playoffs going at the exact same time. You're looking for a place to grab a bite to eat, looking for somewhere to grab something to drink. You want to hang out and enjoy a wonderful Thursday. I can't think of a better place to do that than with our dear friends over at The Other Place. So it is all here. All of the speculation, it is about to come to an end. We are going to get the definitive answer. Now, I will give you a little bit of a disclaimer about today's show. We are not going to spend a lot of time talking about the 29th overall pick. It's not that I don't think the 29th overall pick is not important. It is obviously very important. I think it's nearly impossible to get a feel and an understanding of the final 3 picks in the NFL Draft. Now, as the board becomes a lot clearer as we are moving along, I think the picture will be very obvious. But last year, it was very clear what the Chiefs were going to do. They were going to take an offensive lineman last year. They ended up getting that with Josh Simmons. They can go in any direction with the 29th overall pick. They could take a corner. They could take an edge rusher. They could take a wide receiver. They could take Travis Kelce's replacement. They could do just about anything with the 29th overall pick. So we're going to spend a lot of our focus today on the 9th pick. Tomorrow, when we know who the 29th pick is, whether they move up, maybe they move back, we'll then discuss that. But I don't really plan on spending too much time today with speculation about what they're going to do at 29. Today has always been about the 9th overall pick and what they need to do. So let's get that out the way. Now, let's move forward. I think today is about 4 things. I think it's about Ruben Bane. Now, maybe I've been off in my commentary this week, but I do believe if you walked around Kansas City and you asked 1,000 Chiefs fans who care about this kind of stuff, who keep up with the NFL Draft, that click on every mock draft, that make their own mock drafts, I'm talking about the people that really get a thrill out of tonight. And I think if you polled those people and asked, hey, give me your realistic play for today, not best case scenario, not what you want them to do, what do you think is the most likely thing that the Kansas City Chiefs do with the 9th overall pick? I think a majority of Chiefs fans would tell you draft Ruben Bane. I think you have seen a lot of mock drafts also put 2 and 2 together. This is a very talented pass rusher. The Chiefs are pass rush needy. It is a potential match made in heaven. I thought Bane had a fantastic run to end his season at Miami, where I think you can argue that he was the best player in the college football playoff. And if you don't think he was the best player in the college football playoff, he then was the second best player behind the Heisman Trophy winner and the eventual number 1 overall pick. He was that dominant. He was that transcendent, so to speak. Miami found themselves in the national championship game because of how good Ruben Bane was and the effect that I think he had on the game and on the rest of the team. Now, can that translate to the National Football League? Obviously, time will tell. But my biggest questions with Ruben Bane are simply listening to what the scouts are telling me. I don't pretend to be a draft expert in the way that I can tell you what the vertical leap means or the cone drill or the shuttle drill. I don't pretend to be those things. All I can do is go off the word of what those people are saying, go off historical data to support my opinion. I think there's a significant red flag with Ruben Bane. If his arms are the size that they are telling me they are, can you afford, with your back completely up against the wall, needing to cash this chip in, needing it to turn into a very high quality starter for you, are you in a position where you can take even more of a gamble? If you believe all the things that they are saying about physical traits, this would make him one of the biggest anomalies in the last 25 years in the NFL draft. No player with arms that size has been selected in the first round of the NFL draft this century. No player with arms that size have made the Pro Bowl this side of the 21st century. No player with those size arms have had double-digit sacks on this side of this century. Now, I don't know if Ruben Bane can do those things or not. That's up for the scouts to see. That's up for the scouts to determine. All I can do is pass on the information. We're talking about, if you want the Chiefs to draft Ruben Bane, you believe that he is a one-of-one in a draft class that they have told us pretty repeatedly there is no one-of-one. There is no Dwight Freeney in this year's draft class. There is not that dominant, go out there pass rusher that you can just put in for the next 12 years and they're going to wreck shop in the league. They've told us pretty repeatedly that's not what this draft class is. So in the midst of having a draft class that people don't feel that way about, you're telling me that now there is a physical anomaly. We'll see. I've got my questions. I've got my concerns about Ruben Bane, but the Chiefs drafting him would certainly be validation. We don't care about that. We think that he can compete at a very high level, or we think that those concerns have been completely overblown. We'll see if the Chiefs end up going that direction. I do think that if you are saying what's on the board for Kansas City, I think that would be the betting favorite, so to speak. Now, let's move to what I would want them to do. And I'm not patting myself on the back for this opinion. I think it was kind of an obvious opinion. Rob, we could find the audio. If you remember, when the Chiefs got a top 10 pick and all the dust had settled from the college football playoff, I remember very vividly at 5 o'clock saying, I want the Chiefs to go get David Bailey. I think he is the best possible solution for Kansas City. Now, I don't know how the draft is going to fall. If the Jets take him with the number 2 overall pick, then we wasted our time talking about David Bailey because he was never going to be available. But if you are asking me, if you are asking Carrington, what do I want the Chiefs to do? I would like Arvell Reese to go number 2 overall. I would like for Arizona not to trade out of that pick, because if Arizona trades out of that pick, I would be worried. If Arizona ends up moving back, I think it is because someone moved up to go get David Bailey. He's the only player that you would move up for if we're talking about in the top 10. I don't think you're making that move up to go get Carnell Tate. I don't think you're making that move up to go get Jeremiah Love. If you see across the bottom line that the Dallas Cowboys moved up to number 3, they have selected David Bailey, and I would also say that Bailey was then not realistic. But let's say that Arizona wants to take a running back and they want Jeremiah Love. Let's say that they want to take the offensive lineman out of Miami. Now let's say at number 4, maybe Tennessee ends up taking Jeremiah Love. Maybe Tennessee ends up taking Sonny Styles. If David Bailey is at the 5th pick or later, I would trade up if I'm Kansas City. If David Bailey is sitting there and the Giants are on the clock, I'm picking up the phone, I'm calling Joe Sheen, and I am making a move to move from 9 to 5 to go get David Bailey, because I believe he has the capability of being a player that you can build your defense around. The Chiefs do not have that player in their franchise. They have had that player in the past. They do not have that player today. They do not have a guy that you feel can go out and be a superstar. They do not have a guy that you feel can go out and be a $120 million man and be an all-pro, be a double-digit sack guy, and be a guy that can be a transformative defensive player. I think that David Bailey has that ability. So he is a player that I'd be willing to move up to go get. I've been saying this throughout this process. I would dangle that 74th overall pick out there and see what you can get. Now, the 74th overall pick is not going to be enough to get you to the number 2 overall pick. It's not going to be enough to get you to number 3. I do think if you piece 9 and 74, and maybe you got to put a future 5th round pick to it, I think that's enough to get you to move up the board to number 5 to go get David Bailey. So if you were asking me, Carrington, what do you want to happen today? I want the Chiefs to be aggressive. I want the Chiefs to maneuver the board. I want the Chiefs to go up and go get David Bailey. Now, there are a couple of different options here before Binkley joins us in studio. We have heard a lot of conversation about offensive line. I want to be very clear as we move on today. I do not want the Chiefs to draft offensive line with the 9th overall pick. We agree, text line. You don't have to yell at me today. There's no room for devil's advocate today. That's when we're trying to fill time in February. That's when we're trying to fill time in March. I don't have to play devil's advocate today. That's not what I want them to do. I don't think that them drafting an offensive lineman at number 9 is in the best interest of the organization. But as I've maintained through this entire process, I will understand the logic if that's what they decide to do. I think, very simply put, the Chiefs will tell us exactly how they feel about Jalen Moore by Saturday morning. If the Chiefs use 9 to get an offensive lineman, 29 to get an offensive lineman, 40 to go get an offensive lineman, and if they still have pick 74, if they take a tackle with any one of those, they have answered their question to me on how you feel. You cannot be at the point, and the Chiefs have too many other holes and too many other red flags where you're spending the 40th overall pick in this year's draft class for somebody who you don't think can start day one. I want you thinking instant, immediate impact, not impact in December, and they can't help you early on in the season. You need to be thinking about guys who can step on the field immediately, can play, and also continue to grow and turn into the next All-Pros, turn into the next Pro Bowl caliber kind of players. So again, I want to be clear. You will not hear much devil advocate argument from me. We don't have all that time anymore. That was when we were trying to fill time talking draft. We don't got to fill time anymore. I do not want them to draft an offensive tackle with the 9th overall pick. But if they draft Spencer Fano, if they draft the kid from Miami, and eventually I'll learn how to pronounce his name, if they draft him with the 9th overall pick, I will not come on here tomorrow and tell you that it's the worst thing that they did. If they are looking at Jalen Moore and they are willing to admit their mistake and they can look in the mirror and say that we have our starting 5 offensive line for the next handful of seasons, I don't think that that's the worst possible thing that they could do. There's been a lot of smoke about offensive line. Will the Chiefs go in that direction? And last thing, I don't think the Chiefs are taking a wide receiver at 9. Could they take a wide receiver at 29? Sure. Could they take one at 40? Absolutely. I don't think they're taking a wide receiver at 9. Now, maybe I'm wrong and Carnell Tate's still there, and then you got a real decision on your hands. But I think Tate will be off the board by 9. I don't think they're taking Jordan Tyson, not with his injury history. They also haven't really been linked to him. Sure, it's been a little bit of here, a little bit there, but for example, the Giants, they've been very much linked to Jordan Tyson. I think that's where he's going today. You haven't really seen that in the same way with Kansas City. You have seen no reason to believe that the Chiefs are going to take Mekhi Lemon. Maybe they take Mansour Delane. Maybe they take Caleb Downs. Based on the conversation, based on the smoke, based on the rumor, all the innuendo that come with this draft process, what reason do we have to believe to think that they're about to draft Mekhi Lemon with the 9th overall pick? So I think if we really sat here, and we probably will over the course of the show, we can narrow this thing down to what we think all of the possible options for Kansas City are. Because now that we're here, I don't think it's that many. I think it's 4 different paths that they're going to potentially go down at the top half of the first round, and we'll figure out later today what they decide to do. Coming up on the other side, we're going to be joined by Jay Binkley. If I had to give a power ranking of Jay Binkley's favorite days, I think today might be his favorite. We'll talk to him next. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Big color, bigger savings. Sherwin-Williams Super Sale is here. Get 40% off paints and stains, April 24th through the 27th, with prices starting at $30.89. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circus Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circus Sports has it all. Circus Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circus Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circus Sports app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
JR and Company offers a lifetime workman and company. Home of the free online storm check at jrstormcheck.com.
Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026, May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
It's time to spring into deals at Lowe's. Freshen up your yard with Stay Green Premium 2 cubic foot mulch. 5 bags for $10. Then get what you need to keep clothes, food, and dishes fresh with up to 35% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on select laundry pairs. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6. Mulch offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. Shop Wayfair's Way Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Odyssey Sports Draft coverage is presented nationally by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
We're open to taking phone calls, 913-586-7965. We will read your text as well, 913-586-7965. We got Binkley in for the remainder of the hour. So if you got a draft question, I will admit I am not the best person to ask your draft question to. Binkley is the best person to ask your draft question to. We have him in studio for the remainder of the hour if you want to get his thoughts. So, Bink, I guess I'll come at this from two different perspectives. Let's start with this one. This would be my ideal. If you were telling me right now that I have control of the draft, I am the draft czar here.
The board is speaking to you and you only.
David Bailey would fall to number 5, and the Chiefs would move up to number 5 to draft him. I think if you were talking of what player in this draft is the best player while simultaneously filling a position of need for the Kansas City Chiefs that is realistic for them if the board falls accordingly, I think it's David Bailey. Now, this could end up being for nothing. If he goes number 2 to the Jets, then there was nothing you were going to do about it. If Arizona decides to make their selection and they take him with the 3rd overall pick, there was nothing you were going to do about it. But if he falls just a little bit in the draft and he is within arm's reach, I would do it if I'm Brett Veach.
Yeah, they brought him in if that's someone they value and they say, all right, this is the guy. This is the guy to get back to the quarterback. Because 2022 and 2023, the Chiefs were the number 2 team in the NFL in sacks. I keep seeing all this stuff like, well, the Chiefs have never gotten to the quarterback. That's factually inaccurate. Because 2022 and 23, they were actually number 2 in the NFL in sacks in back-to-back years. They kind of changed their philosophy and went with the little shorter arms during the time, and consequently – getting to the quarterback has gone down for the Chiefs. But, yeah, David Bailey is one of those guys. I like David Bailey. Loved watching him play. I think the guy is one of those guys. There's not a ton of question marks. I'm not talking about off the field, so I'm just talking on the field. Like, not many question marks, injuries, those kind of things that you see with a lot of players. But, like, Jeremiah Love's one of those guys. Clearly, if the Chiefs didn't go out for Kenneth Walker, obviously the Jeremiah Love stuff would even be ad nauseum. You would hear so much Jeremiah Love stuff at this point, and people kind of holding the Chiefs hostage a little bit, knowing the Chiefs would need to draft down, and Chiefs probably have to overpay to trade down that situation. That's why a big deal why they got Ken Walker. But yeah, David Bailey's one of those few guys you kind of and Arvell Reese could end up being like that too.
I think Bailey can be a star. Do you agree?
I do. I think David Bailey. It's very tough because you look at some of these rookie sack numbers. You know, they don't overwhelm you when you see some of them. But David Bailey's one of those guys that I never thought they had a legitimate chance of getting. But if obviously a trade down, you could get him. But he's one of those guys that it's fun to watch. You look at a guy that played on the other side of the arm, a little bit longer arms at 33 and 3/4 inches at that part. But David Bailey, Arvell Reese, and Arvell Reese, one of those guys too. And you're kind of hoping he can be an edge because they say he can. He can be that edge or linebacker. It's not 100% defined where he goes, but neither is Micah Parsons. He's just all over the place. So maybe if someone sees somebody like that in Arvell Reese.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. If you want to call, the phone lines will be open for the entire remainder of the hour. If you want to text in and ask Bink a question, we'll do that as well. 913-586-7965. Binkley, we love a random question. Today, we'll keep it to the draft. We got a lot of time to ask you random questions. We always love picking your brain and finding out more. I would be a little bit surprised if Bane turned out to be a star. Just based on what everybody is telling me about the arm length. All the people that do this for a living are telling me, hey, this is serious. NFL teams are thinking about this. I'd be surprised if he was a star. I don't think you can be surprised if he busts because every player with arms this size has busted. So what my argument against drafting Bane would just be is it's already a dice roll. It's the NFL draft. I'm now going to compound the dice roll. I'm going to compound all of the risk and all of this by taking a undersized player.
I certainly think there's some buzz with Bane, but here's the other thing too, and I know everybody kind of sticking with the arm length. Some Chris and I were talking about on the podcast, even back to December and November. I mean, it's no mystery about those arms. But here's the one thing about Bane, and no one's really explained it. He went a 6-game stretch during the year where he only had half a sack. I mean, there was that 6-game stretch. Yes, his playoffs were good, except for one game. The semifinal game against Ole Miss, he didn't do anything. He had 1 sack. And Akeem Mesidor had a really good postseason as well. The edge on the other side, he had 4 sacks in the postseason. So both of them were getting pressure. He didn't run at the combine, and he didn't run at the pro day, and he's healthy. That brings back Marvin Harrison Jr., because Marvin Harrison Jr. did neither. And everybody said, watch the tape. Watch the tape. The guy's a baller. Well, is Marvin Harrison Jr. as fast as you think? Doesn't have 900 yards in the NFL. Doesn't have over 62 catches, and he's played 2 years. So who knows the situation there. But as far as Bane, and you hear Mitch this morning, and he was talking about that, and something Chris and I talked about. The one thing Spags loves is redirecting passes. All the time, Chiefs are knocking down passes. They're redirecting. They want those arms up. Well, you're limited as much when you have the shorter arm length. But Andy Reid said it the other day in his press conference. They said, what makes the perfect offensive tackle? In your mind, what makes it? He goes, footwork, and he goes, core strength, and then he said, arm length. And he didn't just say offensive line. He said defensive line as well. And you might think this is smokescreen season. It's true. But it's also true that's how he drafts. You go back to Philadelphia and Kansas City, he has never drafted a tackle less than 34-inch arms, except for Simmons. He was 33. So do they change their philosophy? Because Spags is more of the longer arm guy, especially in the first round. Do you go ahead and do that? Not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying Bane played 16 games and had 9.5 sacks. 9.5 sacks sounds good when you play 11 games, but not 16. He had 3 of those sacks in one game when he beat over Crownover at Texas A&M, a converted tight end that played tackle. So he had 15 games where he had 6.5 sacks. That is not like game-changing numbers to me. He had 3.5 the year before. Again, that's not game-changing numbers. And when you get to the NFL, you're going against guys with 35-inch arms, 34-inch arms, the elite tackles. They have a 5 to 6-inch arm length, advantage over you coming around the edge. So I do think there is a lot of smoke, and I do think the Chiefs do like him because I think they look at him as an outlier. But if you play poker, are you really betting in the top 10 on something? You really putting all in on a hand you don't think you can win? The asterisk, you're going with the asterisk, that because that's what he would be, that outlier. Because again, like you said, you're talking about no guys had double-digit sacks with less than 31-inch arms. Nobody's done it. Nobody in the first round has gone, lower than 31-inch arms in 27 years. So if you think that's the outlier, okay, that works. If you're willing to say this is something that's never happened, but it's going to happen here, we feel that confident taking in the top 10 that this guy can do it. That'd be my only concern. So I like the guy. I like his motor, and I like the way he plays. Extremely strong. I do like the guy.
Someone on the text line says, CDOT, they drafted Gelati last year, and he has short arms. Just to give you an idea.
Gelati was the 9th pick.
And, Ashton Gelati's arms are 31 7/8, and Bane is 30 7/8. So, I know it's just 1 inch. It doesn't seem that significant. That's a big difference in the National Football League.
These comparison going, but every single person they sent had longer arms than Ruben Bane. And he didn't remeasure at the pro day. He didn't remeasure, which is weird because usually the pro day you get that bump.
It's not weird. It's the truth.
Last year. Well, there was 46 linemen at last year's combine. 43 of the 46 had longer arms than went their pro day magically. 43 of the 46. So I'm surprised he didn't do it. But that's kind of the way guys are doing. If someone doesn't want to run at the combine, there's a lot of guys that don't do that. But they'll generally run at their pro day as well. And when you look at top 10, quote, picks that did both, most of them did. Like Jeremiah Love ran, Arvell Reese ran, David Bailey ran, all these guys ran. Caleb Downs.
I just think the answer for Bane and why he didn't do those things is very, very simple. He doesn't grade out well in those. Because just think about it. For example, I know it's ways away. If you're DK Metcalf, you know what I want to do? Take my shirt off and do all the drills. I want to show every NFL person I am a physical freak. If I'm not a physical freak, it's not in my best interest to do all these things. So, why would I get measured more? Why would I run more? Why would I do more bench press? That's the answer.
It hurts you being in the top 10, obviously. It's a financial decision not to run. And more guys are doing it. 2 guys of note did it this year, Caleb Downs and Ruben Bane. either ran in the combine or the 40. And if you're fine with that, that's fine. Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't do either. And has he lived up to expectations? I know he's had bad quarterback play, but you know what? There's been bad quarterbacks with receivers having really good seasons.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, we talked a lot about what they can do in the top 10. What do we think they could do with the 29th overall pick? Maybe offensive line. I said this off to the show, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it as well, Bink. We got Bink in studio. The reason I haven't spent a lot of time talking about 29 is anything is possible. Now, I mean, there's some positions, like they're not drafting Ty Simpson, for example, but you could honestly tell me they could go safety, corner, D-end, D-tackle. They could do so many different things at 29.
They could play the best player available, Carter.
We're already doing enough yapping about the draft and speculation. Yeah. But I think at least
they stay there and don't move down.
Yeah, at least now I would say when it's come to number nine, you at least I think got to narrow down to about 4 people. I said off the top of the show, I'd be a little surprised if they drafted Mekhi Lemon. There's just been no smoke. There have been no rumors. There's been very little conversation.
Which is exactly how the Chiefs want it. You're not talking about him. There's no smoke. Here's the deal, though. Mekhi Lemon.
I disagree, though, with the Chiefs. And this is why I disagree.
But Mekhi Lemon did make his top 30 visit with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, he's also
there is comparison. He even came in from the front office about JSN, Igbuka, and stuff like that. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a good comp to it. He doesn't drop the football. Was the Blitnikoff winners, the best receiver in college football, and there's not a lot of smoke on it. That's kind of what the Chiefs want. It's like when they drafted Mahomes. Nobody had the Chiefs getting Mahomes. They thought they were trading down for a linebacker, and they went down and got Mahomes. Mekhi Lemon is where they want him.
But we knew that. We knew in 2017
but he's a big yards after catch guy.
Quarterback.
That's kind of what he does. And if they don't have Rashee Rice going forward, and this is his last year, which I'm very concerned with the wide receiver room because there's nobody under contract for next year but Worthy and Thornton. If you think those 2 guys can get the job done, you're saying none of those guys get hurt? Because Kelsey's not going to be here next year. In 27. In 26 he is, but in 27, it gets extremely thin.
I just think the Chiefs are more predictable than we are giving them credit. This offseason, when we were in January and February, it was very obvious what they wanted to do in day 1 of free agency. They wanted a running back. They were going to get Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker or Travis Etienne. They were going to take a swing on one of those individuals. They ended up getting one of them. Last year, we all knew at the 29th overall pick, they wanted Josh Simmons. They wanted Connerly. They wanted Kelvin Banks. They ended up getting one of them. The year they got Xavier Worthy, we knew they wanted a wide receiver. They got a wide receiver. So that's what I'm saying is now, I think we have a really clear picture of what the Chiefs want to do. The Chiefs, to me, they're going defense with their first pick. They're either going to take a corner, they're going to take Delane, or they're going to take one of these defensive tackles, one of these edge rushers that get to the other team's quarterback.
Yeah, and the one thing, too, about 29, and something that Veach has talked about, and he wasn't the only one, you look at these people looking at the draft, there's not a ton of difference between 29 and 9, like as far as graded players. That's why Veach said they brought in all those defensive ends. He said we brought in like 12 of them, guys are going to be drafted in the first round because there's not a lot of difference between them. We want to see what that difference is all about with these guys because there's not a huge difference between some of those edges going at 29. Would I be shocked if there's edges going at 29 that are just as good as the edges at 9 or 10? Wouldn't be shocked at all. There's also a great group of receivers at the end of the first round. Also a great group of corners at the end of the first round. So at the end of the first round is actually looking pretty good for the Kansas City Chiefs as far as the depth and the fill of positions.
Right now, we're joined in studio by our guy, Jay Binkley. If you got a question, you can call in 913-586-7965.
But if you go defense and then wide receiver, as long as there's a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah, I don't know if they have to get a wide receiver in round 1. So, I'll paint this. Let's say they get Bane at 9. They take a corner on the back half of the first round with the 29th overall pick, and they get a wide receiver at 40. I would say that they checked all of their boxes with the premium pick. If you spend the 40th overall pick on a wide receiver, the expectation is that wide receiver should be good, especially how deep the position is.
This was the top 10 defense last year. The offense was nowhere near that. They're 22nd in the NFL. Who's your quarterback? It's Patrick Mahomes. What does a good quarterback need? He needs fuel. He needs wide receivers.
I would say that they gave him the fuel when they got a running back.
If you have an average quarterback, you build up that defense. You build up that defense to win with defense. If you have Bo Nix, you build up that defense. If you have Patrick Mahomes, you win with Patrick Mahomes. And I worry about these receivers because them just throwing one dart of receivers, you saw what that got them last year. All of a sudden, we'd go into halftime, and receivers have like one catch or two catches. And then all of a sudden, Rice gets suspended. Xavier Worthy gets hurt on play 3. He's out for 3 games. The year before that, it was Hollywood Brown that got hurt in the preseason. Rasheed Rice that went down in week 4. They have all these receivers, but then they always get hurt. So you have to plan that contingency. Do you want to see the same struggles with the offense with Mahomes? You want him to be able to air it out. You're not going to have a quarterback like this again. You might as well get him guys to catch the football. And not only that, you don't have to pay that high tax on it. You get that receiver for 4 years. If it's first round, you get 5 years with that receiver. You're not paying the Alec Pierces of the world $29 million to never have 50 catches in the NFL. You get them through the draft. And they didn't dabble in edge or wide receiver in free agency, meaning I think the draft is where they see those positions being filled.
Text line 913-586-7965. These are 2 different people. C-Dot, wide receiver is more positionally dangerous for bust potential, so I like Sadiq, who is a freak athlete, before I would take Mekhi Lemon. Someone else sends in, Sadiq can do both. He can play tight end, he can play wide receiver. He runs a 4.4, he's a specimen, and he blocks. This has been my stance on Kenyon Sadiq this entire – this is the time. People keep telling me he's a special player. Why was he not special then in college?
Yeah.
Wait, we're not talking about a guy who was hurt the whole time or went to a small school who didn't have a good quarterback. He had 892 yards his entire time at the University of Oregon. So he played at one school the whole time, same system, he played in 42 college games and had less than 900 yards receiving the whole time he was there. And I looked this up before, Bink. He never had a 100-yard receiving day. Tell me the last time that we could find a pass catcher, not a running back. I'm talking about a wide receiver or a tight end that a team spent a top 10 pick on who did not have one 100-yard day. You accidentally get 100 yards against Minnesota. You accidentally get 100
29
yards.
It makes a whole lot more sense than
29
is fine.
29 doesn't bother me.
I agree with you. It's just his size, the 4.39 40, and the fact he was clocked over 23 miles an hour running the football. That's alluring to people.
I guess I'm trying to figure out why you couldn't do that against Nebraska.
If Kelsey wasn't here this year, I see Kenyon Sadiq being much more trouble. Matter of fact, that was the most mocked guy to the Chiefs before Kelsey made his decision, before Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I guess I was just, why did we not see any of that? Like, you saw things from Carnell Tate that could make you think that he could be a very good receiver. You saw that same thing from Jordan Tyson. When Jordan Tyson was healthy, he was a very good player in college. Mekhi Lemon dominated these last 2 years in college football. Kenyon Sadiq was fine. He had 51 catches for 560 yards last year. He was a good college player.
Oregon used it.
But now we're talking about him being a 4.4 freak athlete specimen worthy of a top 10 pick. I think the buzz for Kenyon Sadiq stems from the fact of people are so down on this year's draft class. So we'll take a prospect, a guy that we think we can mold and turn into something, when I just didn't see enough of that in college.
Travis Kelce had 3 yards, 150 yards, and 722 in college. Travis Kelce in his whole career at Cincinnati had 875 yards receiving. And he's going to go down as the greatest tight end in NFL history. They didn't use him. I mean, there's
he also was a 3rd-round pick. We weren't talking about using the 9th overall pick on
But
Kelce.
he's going down as the greatest tight end in NFL history. He did nothing in college.
Do you think they're going to go corner with the 9th overall pick?
I don't think. I mean, wouldn't be against it, but they do so well in the mid rounds, the mid to late rounds with defensive backs. I mean, Jalen Watson, the 7th, L'Jarius Sneed, in the 4th, Noel Williams. They did trade up to the 3rd to get him. They've done so well when Veach, hands it out to his assistant coaches, like, who do you like the best, who kind of fits your system? And Spags, a former defensive back coach, helps a lot. They do so well at that. If they're enamored with right tackle, if that's what they see that they desperately need, if they're not 100% sold on Jalen Moore and they want some competition for him, or they truly believe in Asa Pole, that's fine. And if Jalen Moore is the guy, if Simmons gets hurt and you had to move him to left tackle and you feel confident with that, you have the right tackle of the future for you, because the right tackle is the loaded tackle position in this year's draft, not the left tackle. Because if it was purely left tackle, you talk about a lot of locked-in positions before the Chiefs drafted.
Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, Kenyon Sadiq is projected to be Vernon Davis. I'll take that. If that is who Kenyon Sadiq turns out to be, he is a bust. I'm looking at Vernon Davis's career right now. Vernon Davis didn't have more than 600 yards his first 3 years in the league. His career high for yards in a season was 965 yards. If you were telling me in the first 4 years of Kenyon Sadiq's career, he ends up having 2,000 yards receiving in the first 4 seasons, that's a fail.
Brock Bowers.
No, I'm saying is now if you get that guy at 29, it's a little bit different conversation. If you get that guy at 40, it's a different. If they spend a top 10 pick on a pass catcher who never has 1,000 yards receiving in their career, that's a bust.
Yeah, Brock Bowers never had 1,000 yards, never had over 63 catches in college, and he's the best tight end in pro football right now. Except for Tyler Warren. I really like Tyler Warren.
You think Kyle Pitts is the best receiver in the league?
No, Bowers.
Oh, I thought you said Kyle Pitts. I was like, okay, hold on.
Hell no.
I thought you said Kyle Pitts. I was like, wait, hold on. We're talking about Pitts is the best tight end in the league?
Yeah, I thought I said Bowers.
No, Bowers is a dog. No, that's why I was confused. I was like, what's going on here? We'll take you guys' text message if you want to call 913-586-7965. We got Binkley in studio. We're talking draft. We're taking phone calls. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour as well, we'll talk about Dave Merritt. Yes, you guys keep sending it. I promise you we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it coming up in 20 minutes. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets. That's just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back those stats up, you can head over to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. You can check stats, trends, matchups, all in one location, all on the same app, so you can make your picks with confidence. Everything you need on America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued and non-withdrawable bonus bet that expires 7 days on the street, which apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
It is not hard to destroy a college. Last season, the podcast Campus Files brought you stories of fraternity drug rings, stolen body parts, campus cults, and more.
And now, Campus Files is back for another season.
There's a guy screaming into his phone. He's like, I just saw Charlie Kirk get assassinated right in front of me.
Every week is a new episode and a new story.
It was so chaotic.
It's almost like a university under siege.
Listen to and follow Campus Files, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi?
And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member of FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Draft Spotlights are brought to you by Liberty Mutual. Only pay for what you need. Cornell Tate from Ohio State is the best receiver in this draft, and he's going to be the first wide receiver taken. First of all, he's big. He's been well coached, as all the receivers that come out of Ohio State are, but he's a difference maker because of his ability to adjust to the ball in the air, his route running, and he's a game changer. He could go as early as 5 to the team in New York. He could go to Cleveland at 6 or the team in Washington at 7.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
This afternoon, expect possible thunderstorms with a high of 76.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Text line 913-586-7965. If you got some questions for Binkley, we'll go rapid fire here coming up in just a little bit. We'll also talk about Dave Merritt coming up at the top of the hour. I mean, it wouldn't be a Kansas City Chiefs offseason if we weren't discussing some off-the-field nonsense. I mean, we just get out of it with the players and Rashee Rice being cleared of everything, and now you re-enter the situation with Dave Merritt. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a bit. Bink, I do want to share this thought with you. I am worried about Dallas. Maybe I'm buying too much into the mock drafts, but a lot of people seem to believe that the Cowboys are going to do something big today. So if you see after the first pick, after the second pick, you see a trade has been made, breaking news sounder with Arizona, I don't think that team's Kansas City. I think that team is the Cowboys, and I think they've moved up from 12-3 to go get David Bailey. Now, the Chiefs can obviously still get a very good player at number 9, but that would just take my number 1 pick off the board.
Yeah, I can see Dallas moving around. I don't think that they're fully content by losing Micah Parsons, and they want to make amends for it, getting another elite edge rusher. But I could totally see Dallas moving up and down. It's something they do. Brett Veach, one of those GMs, likes moving. Les Snead, the Rams, likes moving, likes giving up picks. Howie Roseman, there's so many GMs that like to move up and down. And like Veach was saying, grab your popcorn, basically, is what he's paraphrasing what he said. You know, it's going to be it's going to be one of the more entertaining first rounds I think we've seen in years.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to make the 74th overall pick. I think they're trading the 74th overall pick. Now, they could trade that to move up to 5. They could use that where, let's say they move up from 74 to 69 because there's a player that they really want. But just knowing the Chiefs, I don't think out of those top 4 selections, they are picking in all 4 of those spots. They're not picking at 9, 29, 40, and 74. The board moves, the board shifts. They'll see something that they like. They have 9 picks, so you can be a little more aggressive in spots. You can be more conservative in spots. I think you're going to see them wheel or deal a little bit with one of those top 4 picks.
I agree with you. I don't think there's any way that they end up with the full 9 picks that they trade, and 74 just kind of dangling out there. I wouldn't be shocked, too, if each starts stockpiling for next year's draft as well. He already lost one of those guys when he traded for Justin Fields, a 2027 pick. And, of course, he got an extra one for 27 as well. So I could see a lot of teams actually stockpiling for next year. I think that's going to be one of the requests.
Would you be upset if the Chiefs drafts an offensive lineman?
No, I wouldn't, just because you understand the value of it. I've always go into the draft, especially with Mahomes doing what he does, like think of Mahomes first. Like, obviously being able to stay in the pocket, throw the football, don't want him moving around nearly as much. But, you know, what keeps him up? That's offensive lineman. It's having skill positions to throw to. So, yeah, I think it's important, especially when Jawan Taylor went gone. I don't know if you can totally put Jalen more in that total circle of trust yet with the Chiefs. I mean, I like what he did, stepping in when he did, but then things kind of came back to the pack for him later on. I don't know if they're 100% dead set on him there. And Asa Polle and guys with, you know, not as experienced in the National Football League, It's going to take work. And, of course, Wanye floating around, but Wanye kind of is what he is at this point. So, no, I have no problem with them going offensive line.
I said that by Monday morning, or excuse me, by Saturday morning, we'll know exactly how they feel about Jalen Moore. If they take a wide receiver today, or excuse me, if they take a right tackle, today or tomorrow, they've answered my question about Jalen Moore. They don't think he can play. Because if you got confidence in your right tackle, then you go in other directions. You go get your corners. You go get your wide receivers. You pick up a linebacker. You do all those other things. But you can't draft a tackle with the 40th overall pick and that guy's backing up for you next year. This roster is not good enough where you can continue to redshirt guys who are high draft picks. So if they're taking O-line at 40, he has to play next year.
Because like last year, he was beat out by Simmons.
For sure.
Like he lost the job. So would he lose the job in training camp this year?
Text line 913-586-7965. If you got a question for Binkley, we can go rapid fire here, and we can ask questions to Binkley. Bink, what's your bold prediction, Wyatt, on the draft front? But now that we're here, we know there's going to be moves. There's going to be trades. There's going to be things that affect the league. I mean, last year, the James Pierce trade. Now the Rams have two.
Bold prediction would, I think they'll stay still with 9, but I could see them moving down from 29. And I could see them getting lower 20s, like they moved down when they got McDuffie. And I think that could be for an offensive lineman, especially if there's a run on some of the offensive line like we might see as well. That would be kind of, I mean, it's not bold when you're talking offensive line, but I could see them making a move into the early 20s to get an offensive lineman.
For today, we have to rebrand this. Normally, it's random question time. Today, it's going to be draft question time.
Question. All right, draft question time.
Bink, what time is it?
Draft question time.
Somebody says, Bink, do you think that the Chiefs are going to move back from 9?
In a perfect world, I would say yes. I think the possibilities to move back are there, but then you always have to ask who they're going to trade up to get. It's obviously with the Bengals, which that's not always the best team to go by in these situations. But when they made that move for Dexter Lawrence, they said this guy is better than anybody we can get in the draft. That's 100% what they said. They said Dexter Lawrence is better than any defensive player we could get at number 10. I don't know. It would take like a Jeremiah Love falling, which I don't think he would. It would be somebody like totally in love with the Ty Simpson coming out of nowhere to trade up and getting him. They want to trade up to get the franchise quarterback. I don't see a ton of those guys, falling back to say, we've got to get to where the Kansas City. We've got to get number 9. If Jeremiah, maybe if Caleb Downs falls and someone in love with Caleb Downs, they have to get him, and they call Brett Veach and ask him to trade. I don't think going down to, somewhere in the teens is the worst thing for the Chiefs.
It's far more likely to me that they move up than move back. I don't know if really moving.
It's one of the 10 or 15 guys they like.
Yeah, I mean, moving back, obviously you pick up picks. But I mean, moving back from 9 to 12, you're not picking up. You're picking up a 3rd round, 4th round pick, and I would say just the board and who could possibly be available. I think it is much more likely that they move up to go get Bane or Bailey than move back to take Mansour Delane.
Because there's so many guys, they're kind of close together, from 9 to 29, that area there. I don't see a team saying, we've got to jump up in the top 10 and get this guy. You jump up in the top 10 and get a Patrick Mahomes like they did. You jump up and get those kind of players, generational type players. I just don't see that generational guy here in the top 10.
I think on Monday and Tuesday, after the dust settles with the draft and we start to get an idea for some of these team draft board, I think we're going to be surprised at how far apart the league is on this year's draft class. But there's going to be somebody who has Bane as their best pass rusher. There's going to be somebody that has Bane as their 5th best pass rusher, and they were not interested because of the arm size.
There's some GMs that don't even want him at all. They said that'll be somebody else's problem.
Yeah,
some guys like him.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see somebody's draft board that has Concepcion as their best receiver on the board, and they got a guy who went 3rd overall, end up being like, I think we're going to see that there is a varying of opinions on this year's draft class. Because the perception is they're not those stars.
I don't think that top 10's really set.
Yeah, there's not the Von Miller, the Myles Garrett. There's not those players in this draft class that you're thinking, oh, that guy's going to be a really, really good pro. There's just not that many guys in this
Sometimes
class.
You can pretty much pencil in who the top 10 is going to be. Now, I'd be out of order, a couple picks here and there, but there's a lot of people that do nail the top 10.
Text line 913-586-7965. Bink, what position group do you think is deeper, wide receiver or defensive end?
I think neither one of them are deep at all. I think wide receiver would be thin at this point, only because Right now, you're looking at Rashee Rice, and that's a huge unknown because you just never know. Xavier Worthy, will he get hurt again? Will he fight through injuries? Because that's what he did last year. He fought through injuries, did miss those 3 games. I just think wide receiver room is extremely thin at this point. That's why Tyquan Thornton got a 2-year deal. I mean, he was on the Chiefs practice squad.
I'll get you out of here with this last one. Let's say the Chiefs go defensive end with the 9th overall pick, and they draft a wide receiver with the 29th overall pick. What wide receiver would you want that to be?
Probably Denzel Boston if he's still sitting there. Denzel Boston, I like Omar Cooper Jr. if he's, flirting around out there as well. Chris Bradshaw might be too early for him. I do like him out of Tennessee. He's a taller receiver. They have to break their mold on the wide receiver type. Casey Concepcion, I like. He just drops the ball an awful lot. He's dropped 19 passes.
And that's their type. To be fair, that's their type. They love those kind of receivers.
Yeah,
they love uncertain hands.
He drops the ball a lot. That concerns me.
If there's one thing we can say about Chiefs receivers, shorthanded is not one of the adjectives I would use to describe.
They're a top 5 hovering drop team.
That is our guy, Jay Binkley. You can hear him later today. They are going to do a live version of the Character Concerns podcast. There's no Royals game today, so we're going all the way through tonight.
Royals been great.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
We're going all the way through
got 9
tonight.
Games Saturday and Sunday. I mean, the Royals have been draft friendly, man.
Yeah, in more ways than one.
And usually it's delays. So
coming up on the other side, we are going to talk about Dave Merritt, the very talented defensive back coach for the Chiefs, finds himself in some trouble. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
This is the Game of the Week report, brought to you by Hyundai.
The pro basketball playoffs have officially kicked off following the conclusion of the play-in tournament. Kicking off round 1, we have a full slate of games scheduled for Monday with Atlanta versus New York, Cleveland against Toronto, and Denver at Minnesota.
The Game of the Week report is brought to you by the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. Learn how it's so much more than just another SUV at HyundaiUSA.com.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is just driving the kids to soccer practice. Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space.
Come on, guys. Mill cleats on a seat.
Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. That's 562-314-4603.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and oh, they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Spies KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexspieskc.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I need a little ranch, step to the ranch.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue. Join us at the Fans Draft Party at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill on April 23rd for your chance to win $965 in our draft contest. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, I got a question. Rob, do you think that we are going to get the credit, or do you think we deserve credit? Because I saw Albert Breer on his mock draft say that the Chiefs and Arvell Reese, there's a little bit of steam. Is that not what I reported? Is that not what I said on this show at the beginning of the week? Do you think we'll get the credit for that?
No.
That's not right.
We're not the breaking news show. That's just not.
But I said that earlier in the week. Did I not? I told you.
You did say it.
I got a little birdie told me when all of the conversation came out about Arizona and the 3rd overall pick. We can go back and check the tape. I just want my credit. I want our show to get the credit. And someone told me that the Chiefs were interested in Arvell Reese, and they think he's the best defensive player in this draft class. It was interesting to me. I just threw it out there. I want you guys to have the information. If I know, you guys can know. If somebody tells me, I mean, you know what I do for a living. You can't tell me something like that and think I'm not going to share it with you guys. I mean, I'm not going to tell you who, but I can tell you the what. So I just want to know if we're going to get credit, because he said has some legs. I told you it had some legs. That's number one. Number two, have you guys seen this Dave Merritt story? Now, I might make a joke at some point during this segment, but it is obviously not funny at all. Dave Merritt, you guys know, he's a defensive back coach with the Kansas City Chiefs. He has been charged with misdemeanor domestic battery, according to court documents. Shortly after 9:30, earlier today, the Johnson County District Attorney Office had filed a complaint against him, accusing him of unlawfully, knowingly, or recklessly causing bodily harm to a daughter, which constitutes a domestic violence offense. Now, I don't have any other details about the case other than times, dates, etc. I don't know the story. I don't know his side. I don't know her side. I don't know a neutral party side. That is all the information that we have right now about it. I am guessing we will get more. This is where the joke might come into play. Is this not the most Kansas City Chiefs thing that could quite possibly happen? To begin the offseason, we had the entire cloud around Rashee Rice, who just stays in trouble. And then you know what? We got a gift. One day, we're just sitting here minding our own business, getting ready for the baseball season, and a social media post comes across from Adam Schefter saying that Rashee Rice is off the hook. He is not going to be suspended. He has been cleared of this. We were hoping to just get a little bit of peace. We were just hoping to get a little bit of comfort to off-the-field issues or incident regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, guilty or innocent until proven guilty. I have absolutely no clue what happened, but we're going into the first round of the NFL draft. We're talking about the Chiefs possibly taking a corner in round 1 We're talking about them taking a corner at 9. We're talking about them maybe taking a corner at 29. We're talking about they have to do a massive renovation to the cornerback room. And one of the most important pieces in all of that, he was booked into the Johnson County Jail last night at 10 o'clock. Is that not the most Kansas City Chiefs thing that could quite possibly happen? It was one thing when you got to worry about the players. You got to worry about the coaches, too, getting into trouble. Who's leading who? Who's the adult over there? How are they always in something? Keep your hands to yourself. Keep your emotions in check. It's one thing I thought we had to tell this to 22, 23-year-old. We got to tell this to a 54-year-old man. We got to pass this message on. I don't want to cast too much judgment without having the whole of the story, but just, I mean, if you had told me, hey, the Chiefs are going to get into another off-field incident in the next 60 days, I don't think I would have guessed Dave Merritt. I wouldn't have guessed the coach. I'd have been like, hey, what did Rashee Rice do this time? He was the hands-on favorite to find himself back in some legal issues. But now we got to have this conversation. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to speculate on the man's job. Are they going to keep him? Are they not going to keep him? But we all acknowledge that Dave Merritt is very, very important to what the Chiefs are doing, and they're going to really need him this year. Regardless of what they do in the NFL draft, they're going into 2026 with a very inexperienced secondary, where your number one option is Christian Fulton as of right now. Your number two option is Noel Williams. Noel Williams played fewer snaps than Josh Simmons did last year, who missed 2 months of the season. So you're not going into it, A, with, I would say, a lot of confidence, or B, with a lot of experience in that cornerback room. And you know what you needed? One of the best defensive back coaches in the year to be there. Now, let's see what happens. But that's where we currently sit, Rod, with Dave Merritt.
And I was reading the story. He's supposed to appear in court today around the time of the show. So maybe during the show we'll get some more information about the situation with Dave Merritt. But he was arrested last night, as you mentioned. But from a Chiefs on the field perspective, is he the most popular assistant coach on the Chiefs staff?
Not even close.
He gets, understandably so. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I mean he's done a great job.
He gets credit for basically turning 4th, 5th, 6th round, 7th round picks into stars. Jalen Watson makes a lot of money. You can probably point to Dave Merritt for that reason. Trent McDuffie was an all-pro. Text line, for some reason, didn't like Trent McDuffie, but he's an all-pro. You can point to Dave Merritt, L'Jarius Sneed. The list goes on and on and on. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen on the field. I don't know what's going to happen off the field. I only have the report that everyone else has, that he was arrested last night on a domestic misdemeanor battery. That's all I know. But if he is going to miss time this year, whether with a suspension or whatever, it is potentially problematic because he has been the secret sauce of that secondary of the Chiefs ever since coming to Kansas City.
For sure. Somebody said, bruh, he whooped his daughter. I don't know. I have absolutely no clue. There is nothing in here that would give you a story of what happened. All we know about Dave Merritt is that earlier this morning, with the Johnson County District Attorney's Office, they filed a complaint against the man. He was accused of unlawfully, knowingly, and recklessly causing bodily harm to a daughter, which constitutes as a domestic violence offense. And he had an appearance in the Johnson County District Court earlier today at 2 o'clock. That is quite literally everything that I guess we know a little bit more. An Overland Park police officer arrested him yesterday at around 9 o'clock. He was booked into the Johnson County Jail at around 10:30 last night. And now he's got his court appearance earlier today. So that's all we know. There's no story. There's no, this is what they think happened. I have absolutely no clue. I'm just here to pass the information. The Chiefs know about this. As you would guess, the Chiefs have no comment on it, and there's no reason to have a comment on it until we get a little bit more information about what's happening. So I don't want to speculate about what he did. I don't want to speculate.
We also don't know the age of the daughter. The age.
I have no clue. I have no clue. I have no clue. I don't know if he's going to be fired for this. I don't know if he isn't going to be fired from this. I have absolutely no clue. I don't know.
There is. I don't even want to speculate. That's all we know is that he was arrested last night. Maybe during the show, news will leak out about what happened because he is in court as we speak, or he was in court earlier when the show started. But yeah, that's all we know is what we know.
Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, it's a misdemeanor, so nothing will probably happen to him. I do not disagree with what you are saying. He is a very prominent member of the community, and it is a misdemeanor. Something tells me that these situations normally work out how the well-known person with money, it normally works out in their favor. That's a very, very safe assumption, I think, to have about this case. All right, coming up on the other side, we are actually going to play a whip around for you guys. We're going to go around the board. We're going to go to the number 2, number 3, number 4 overall pick. We're going to go all the way down the line until we get to Kansas City, just to get a feel for what teams are thinking as we are heading into round 1. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
Tune in to hear the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews.
There's a high fly ball, deep left center. That goes Ward to the wall. Gone, Bobby Witt Jr.
Every Monday at 3, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Want a quieter, more enjoyable shooting experience? Centerfire Shooting Sports in Olathe is the #1 suppressor dealer in Kansas City. We make it easy for you to get your suppressor without the hassle. Need help? Our team of experts is here to walk you through the entire process. Come in today and learn more, or go online to centerfireshootingsports.com. Centerfire Shooting Sports, Kansas City's one-stop shop for all your suppressor needs.
This report is brought to you by Bet365. Winning is everything.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car, take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Hey, it's Scott Parks, and we've launched Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's largest sporting event. Presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. Subscribe on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. They're located off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got the Stall Pleasant Valley area, 35 southbound at 69. It is the right lane that's blocked. And your Raytown 435 southbound, just past 70. You're going to tap your brakes there. That's a stalled big rig block in the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Follow the station on Instagram at The Fan 965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
All right, I have 2 things I want to play for you guys. Now, I know you guys won't believe me, but the only reason I am playing this first part is because it will explain why we are playing the second part. Some of you may know this, some of you may not know this. I don't just work here at Odyssey with 96.5 The Fan. I also work at Sirius XM. I work for Mad Dog Sports Radio. So I have a show consistently on the weekend, and then sometimes, I fill in during the week. Well, Rob, I got a text a couple of days ago. Hey, do you think you could fill in for Stephen A. Smith? He's having some health issues. Can you step in? Yeah, sure. No problem. Stephen's always been great to me in our conversation. Makes like we're friends or anything, but we talked a handful of times in my life. So I did not know that this happened. My group chat was on fire yesterday. Carrington, did you see what happened? No, I did not see what happened. What happened? Well, this is what happened.
Now, welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Coming at you as I love to do. Every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My man Carrington Harrison, to fill in yesterday for me. I just love it when he fills in. He does an outstanding job. Got a lot of love for him. Really, really appreciate him. He's based out of Kansas City. He does a hell of a job, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a star in this industry. He's really good people as well. I just love the job that he does on radio. And I'm always proud when I hear him filling in for me. But let me tell you something right now. Even he couldn't put me in a good mood today.
That's what Stephen A. Smith said about me yesterday. I mean, Rob, I think we might have to make Stephen A. Smith friend of the show, even though he's actually never been on the show before. He might be the first person that just gets moved to the front of the line. In fact, I don't even want to call him Stephen A. Smith anymore. He's Steve now. That's how close me and Stephen A. are. He's not just, you might call him Stephen A. You don't know him like that. He didn't shout you out. He shouted me out. He might just be Steve or Stevie. We might be at that level of our relationship.
I mean, you did not do enough to bring him up from the terrible performance of the Knicks, though. I made sure to keep that in the cut. He's like, he did a great job. Now, I love Carrington, but he did not undo the Knicks' badness.
They did lose.
It's the most Stephen A.
I couldn't
Smith thing
solve
ever.
that. I couldn't solve that. No. I am very confident that Stephen A. Smith will be on at some point in the summer. I'm working towards it. I'm just finding the right time to ask, hey, can you come on the show? I'm waiting. The NBA draft just feels like the right time. Whenever we find out where Darren Peterson could maybe go, I just feel like that's a good time to have Stephen A. on. I mean, we won't be talking baseball during that time. The Royals are out of it. You guys got a choice. You want Stadium or Steven? Those are your choice. Those are your options. Stadium, Steven, or not sports. Yeah, pick wisely.
He did get tongue-tied by your last name. I will point that out.
Hey, come on. You know what? That's hate. That's a little hate right there. You know that's a little hate.
That definitely happened. He got caught between Carrington and Harrison. He definitely got caught. I still think he can come on the show, and I still think he said nice things, but he got a little tongue-tied by your name.
Okay, he did a little bit. I mean, you know what? I'm going to forgive that. Let's not forget, I've been shouted out by Pat McAfee and by Stephen A. Smith. I just want to point that out. I see how you took the Pat McAfee, you just took it out of the system.
I mean, there was one guy on the text line who really hated that clip.
Hated to see me shine. The text line hates to see me shine. That's their problem. The text line hates. You heard he called me futurist. That's how I want to be referred to on the text line. Not some of the mean things that you guys call me. Idiot, nincompoop, all of these things. I get called very, very mean things on the text line. Stephen A. Smith had nice things to say about me. He's nicer to me than you guys are. I just wanted to play that. So the only reason I'm playing that for you, seriously, the only reason is I filled in for Stephen A. Smith a couple of days ago. And when I filled in for Stephen A. Smith, we had somebody from every city in the top 10 of the NFL draft to get their opinion on what they thought could happen. Now, I got to give you a little bit of a caveat. I skipped Las Vegas because why? Why would we interview anybody from Las Vegas to talk about Fernando Mendoza? We know who the number 1 overall pick is going to be. So I actually started at the number 2 overall pick, and you know what? What better? There's only one day I can play this for you. It's right now in this moment. Let's go to New York. Let's start with the Jets, with someone who covers the Jets. What direction are they going?
It's a weird feeling because, we were just joking about it. Normally when you're as bad as the Jets were, the light at the end of the tunnel is, well, you get a quarterback with that top pick. And we went through this, of course, with Zach Wilson years ago. And, they traded up to number 3 and took Sam Darnold. But normally when you're bad, it leads to, you get the young quarterback. That's clearly not going to happen here. So there's a lot of weird feelings in the Jet fan base because here are the Jets with 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. But it feels like most Jet fans just want to focus in on the 2027 draft class because the Jets have 3 first-rounders next year in what's supposed to be a better QB class. So while there's definitely some excitement over some of the options for the Jets at 2 and then 16, whether they go Arvell Reese or David Bailey at 2, that feels like the big debate right now as far as the options at 2 and then 16 pretty much more wide open. They do need a wide receiver. It's an odd feeling because while there's a lot of focus on this year's draft, the fan base is also talking extensively already about next year.
Which one of the defensive players do you think they're going to take? Do you think they're taking Bailey or Reese?
I actually think they're going to take Arvell Reese. It's been weird to see a lot of the insiders who go from Reese being almost a foregone conclusion to a lot of them now saying it's David Bailey. I just have a feeling at the end of the day it's going to be Arvell Reese. I think he's just a better overall football player. He's a couple of years younger than Bailey. You could do more things with him in your defense. The Jets are switching to a 3-4 scheme with Aaron Glenn now taking over play calling. And you just look at what Matt Patricia was asking Arvell Reese to do at Ohio State. He's already an elite outside linebacker, and when he was asked to rush the passer, he was efficient at it, and he really hasn't been coached to do it yet. So I think the Jets look at Arvell Reese as a guy who might not be the best player after a year if you compare him to David Bailey, but over the course of their careers, I think he's got the higher ceiling, and I think when you're picking 2nd overall, you're taking the big swing, trying to find a superstar, and I think that could be Reese. I also like Bailey a lot. I don't think the fan base would be that upset if they went with this quote-unquote safer option. But there are some concerns with Bailey against the run. The Jets already have a good pass rusher in Will McDonald, who's not great against the run. So when push comes to shove, Carrington, I think they're going to end up taking Arvell Reese on Thursday.
You're 100% right. It feels like the Jets are going to take a quarterback in 2027. Do you think Aaron Glenn will get a chance to coach that quarterback?
That's the big question. I mean, if I had to make a prediction right now, I would say no, because, there's really been no evidence that Aaron Glenn has any idea what he's doing. I mean, his first year wasn't just bad. It was historically bad. They started 0-7. This is when, they were trying to win, when they still had Sauce Gardner, when they still had Quinn Williams. He had talked all summer about coaching guys up and, basically taking shots at the previous coaching staff that they weren't any good. And, no one's sitting here telling you Robert Sowell and his staff were great, but they certainly, got a lot more out of the same group of players than Aaron Glenn and his staff did. And Glenn essentially admitted he was a mess in year one because he fired 50% of his coaching staff, including both his offensive and defensive coordinators. So, the odds are certainly stacked against him. They're going to have to certainly win a lot more than 3 games. They probably have to win at least 7 or 8 for him to definitively be back. But, at the end of the day, there's no evidence to show you that he knows what he's doing. So he needs to obviously improve dramatically if he's going to be here in 2027.
That was our update on the number 2 overall pick. That was Jake Asman, who covers the New York Jets. Let's head to the phone lines right now for the number 3 overall pick. Dave Burns representing the Arizona Cardinals. Dave, how you doing today, my man?
Good, Carrington. How you doing today?
Doing fantastic, man. Let's start with this. I have no clue what the Cardinals are going to do. You could tell me that they could take whoever the Jets don't take on the defensive side. You could tell me they could go offensive tackle. You could tell me they take Jeremiah Love. What do you think they will do with the 3rd overall pick?
If it's there, they're going to trade down. It is Monty Ossenfort's DNA. To him, it's like breathing. It's just this natural kind of instinctual thing to do around draft time. His history proves it, and I think what you just said a second ago even reinforces why. There's no clear-cut guy. Now, if Jets Insider is correct and it's going to be Arvell Reese, I think Bailey is going to be very tempting for them to add an edge rusher at kind of a premium position that they can put next to Josh Sweat. So if Bailey's there, I think maybe he becomes the more obvious choice. But I still think at this point what they're desperate to do, Carrington, is to upgrade the right side of their offensive line, take Malinois, take Spencer Fano. It's a reach to take either one of those guys at 3. I think they're hoping Dallas wants to move up. I think they're hoping Kansas City wants to move up. Maybe New Orleans wants to move up, and they can drop down to 8, 9, or 12, a more comfortable area to take one of those tackles, get some extra goodies to do so. That is a very typical Monty Ossenfort thing to do, and I expect them to try like heck to do that on Thursday night. Let's see if there's a dance partner out there for them.
We asked the Jets this question. I'll ask you this question. Are you guys basically just waiting to 2027 to figure out who your quarterback is going to be?
It's a Ty Simpson question, and that is, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. They're either it's the worst kept secret in the league or it's the biggest lie in the NFL because everybody is trying to pair Ty Simpson with the Arizona Cardinals. I'll say this. If you're going to go get a quarterback next year, you're going to have to be pretty bad in 2026. And I don't know if Monty Ossenfort has another bad year left in him with this ownership group after how bad things have been for the last 3. So my instinct is that it might be Ty Simpson for that reason. If they find a way to move back into the late first round, or maybe if they do the deal with Dallas, they take him at 20 if he's there. I think the fan base, well, I don't know what the fan base would want him to do. I think they're more inclined to wait for 2027. But I don't know if Monty Ossenfort can wait. I have a feeling it might be a move for Ty Simpson, and they don't wait for 2027.
That was Dave Burns with the Arizona Cardinals in the 3rd overall pick. Let's go to Tennessee with the 4th overall pick and be joined by Easton Freeze. Easton, this feels like Jeremiah Love to me at number 4.
It does to me. It all depends on who's there. Appreciate you having me. There's been a lot of smoke to begin this week with Sonny Styles. I wrote an article at AtoZSports.com this morning fading that very hard. I think that it is simply who is there between the 2 edge rushers and Jeremiah Love. I think that the Titans would prefer one of those edge rushers to fall, and if one of them fell into their laps, they'd happily take them, but otherwise, Jeremiah Love's their guy.
Who do fans want? Do fans want their team to take a running back in the top 5? Because that's usually a very polarizing opinion.
It is, and it was at first. And it's just one of those things that the draft season is really long, and people have talked themselves into him. And as polarizing in a topic as that is for team-building reasons and for positional value reasons and financial reasons, That's all boring. Running backs are awesome. They score touchdowns, and they do exciting things. And Jeremiah Love is a very exciting player who's going to do very exciting things, and so it's been easy for folks to start to talk themselves into him.
That is Easton Freeze and the number 4 overall pick with the Tennessee Titans. Easton, great stuff, my man. Appreciate you.
Anytime.
We'll get Keith McPherson's thoughts, and we'll see what he thinks as the Giants have both the 5th and the 10th overall pick. Keith, happy to have you on here. Let's split this up, the 5th overall pick. What direction do you think the Giants are going?
What's up, man? I think they're going to go Caleb Downs. I don't see them going Jeremiah Love. I don't see them taking the receiver there. I think they're going Caleb Downs. Everything I'm reading, now that they have that 10th overall pick, they can go Downs and then see who falls to them at 10.
To me, I think a guy like Sonny Styles just makes a lot of sense to me at 5.
I don't know. I mean, Sonny Styles had a great combine. He's obviously got the, genetics, the pedigree. And there is a thought about the Dallas Cowboys, right? Because the Dallas Cowboys really need a middle linebacker. So if you're trying to play keep away from your division rival, maybe you get him there. But at 5 to take a linebacker, you can usually find these linebackers later in the draft. Caleb Downs is a one-of-one. When we talk about, legacy and pedigree and genetics, obviously he has the bloodlines as well. And he's a guy I think that's going to age well because he can play nickel, he can play corner, he can play safety. Like, this kid was starting as a freshman. Like, I don't know, there's just a lot of signs pointing to taking Caleb Downs there, and I think that's who they want.
Right now, we're learning a little bit more about the Giants. All right, so the Giants have the 10th overall pick as well. They just got that in the Dexter Lawrence trade. I guess let's just get your thoughts on this. What were the reaction for the Giants getting the 10th overall pick for Dexter Lawrence? Has to be much higher compensation than anybody thought they were going to get.
I was in the Garden for game 1 Saturday. There was a break in the game. Everybody got the alert on their phones. In my section, people were trying to comprehend what just went down. And for me, I'm like, wait, 10th overall? I think it's a great trade for the Giants. It could turn out to be a great trade for the Bengals if they actually turn their defense into something and compete and get back to where they're supposed to be in the playoffs, competing for Super Bowls. But let's focus on the Giants, right? You only make that move if you can get a first-round pick. They just got a top 10 pick. They got the 10th overall pick. I feel like they're in the driver's seat for this draft now. And like I said, that shores up their 5 pick because if you really want Caleb Downs and you didn't have that other pick, maybe you play the board, maybe you take a safer pick. But now I think, you can get both sides of the ball covered with those first 2 picks. If you want to go Downs at 5, defense, you get the best defensive player that fits you. And then at 10, if you want to go wide receiver, if you want to go offensive lineman, I feel like you can't go wrong.
That is our take a look at the Giants' 5th and 10th overall pick. Keith McPherson joining us on the show to update us on what's going on in New York City. Keith, go Knicks.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Why don't we continue that theme? Let's head to Cleveland right now to be joined by my guy Chico Borman as the Browns have the 6th overall pick. And let's find out what Cleveland's going to do. Chico, how you doing, my man?
Doing well, C-Dot. How are you, pal?
Doing fantastic, man. Happy to have you on the show today. Cleveland has the 6th overall pick. I feel like Cleveland is in a potential trade back scenario. What do fans want Cleveland to do?
There's been a lot of talk about Andrew Berry trading back, and really there's nothing to read as far as between the lines. He said that at the owners' meeting. Talked about it, and I think it is absolutely something that the Browns are going to entertain. Problem is, what happens between. I agree with you. At 1, I think we know they're going with Mendoza. What happens 2 through 5? I definitely think that factors into it, but my guess would be that they are very much in the market for trading back and maybe adding a pick, even if it's not this season. For next year, that's kind of Andrew Berry's quote-unquote DNA. But there are, there's a lot of holes to fill, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Chico, let's say that the Browns stay with the 6th overall pick. Who do you think they could take there at 6?
Well, okay, let's say, obviously, I have to, there's a caveat on that in terms of who's available. I would say that there's a few guys. We know they need wide receiver. We know they need offensive line help. They did add some here in the offseason, but I still think they need help up front, a lot of help up front. I think it comes down to, are they in love with Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, who obviously has been rocketing up work lately. There's an injury concern there. And then offensive line, you know, is Mawanoa their guy? Is Fano their guy? Who's going to be there? I mean, there's talk that Mawanoa could go, you know, early in you know, those first 2, 3, 4 picks. So I think that they like both of those guys if they're both off the board, which I doubt. I mean, especially I would think Fano's going to be there. But at this point, I think the popular pick here in Cleveland, again, this is just from a fan standpoint, you have the Ohio State connection. The Buckeyes are huge here in Northeast Ohio. Carnell Tate is drawing a lot of excitement from fans, but that doesn't mean that Andrew Berry's as locked in as they are. We'll see.
Let's go to the 8th overall selection. It is the New Orleans Saints. Let's head down to the Bayou right now to be joined by Ross Jackson, who covers the Saints. Ross, the 8th overall selection. I feel like the Saints are going pass rush here. What do you think?
Yeah, man, it feels very, very much like it. Look, the Saints have had a top 16 selection 7 times since 2015. 6 out of those 7 times they've gone with the premier position. 5 out of those 7 times they've gone for the trenches. This is a team that loves to build from the inside out. I would absolutely expect pass rusher to be high on the list here at 8.
I would say it wouldn't surprise me if the Saints went wide receiver. I thought they have a promising quarterback last year who had a very good rookie year. I could see them opting to put some weapons with him if they're available.
Yeah, I mean, look, the quarterback conversation changes everything. So while the history says trenches, maybe the temptation for Kellen Moore, an offensive-minded head coach, is like, hey, we got the quarterback in the building. Maybe it's an opportunity here to keep putting the pieces around him. That's where guys, I think, like Carnell Tate, as well as, of course, Jordan Tyson, who's got a lot of momentum after him yet again, could potentially be a selection as a possibility for the Saints again at 8 as well.
A lot of the people we've talked to said that their teams want to trade down. Are the Saints in that boat? Would they like to trade down from 8?
The New Orleans Saints have not traded down in the NFL draft since 2007. I don't think they're ever looking at trading down. General Manager Mickey Loomis talked about it before. He said if you trade down, you're effectively conceding to the idea of taking a lesser player. So I think that if there's any of those teams above the Saints trying to trade down, it's more likely the Saints are looking to trade up, although I would expect them to stick and pick at 8.
That was our NFL draft whip around. We went to all the cities that are picking before the Kansas City Chiefs, just to give you an idea of what their fan bases are saying. Special thanks to everybody who weighed in on the whip around. Rob, what's one thing that you learned? The thing there at the end, I had absolutely no clue that fact about the New Orleans Saints. I mean, maybe I should have looked it up. Maybe I should have known, but they just never trade back in the NFL draft. They're never interested in, sure. I mean, you can see taking a, quote, lesser player at one spot, but that means you can then take a better player at another spot or an additional player. Like, I understand the logic on the front end. They're also outweighing, I think, what you could potentially get on the back end as well.
Honestly, the thing that stood out to me is the amount of teams that are like, yeah, in a perfect world, trade back. I'd love to trade back. I heard Chico say it with the Browns. Yeah, if everything broke right, trade back. The Cardinals, if everything broke right, trade back. I think the Titans, I know they said Jeremiah Love. I think they would probably prefer to take Jeremiah Love later in the draft than 4 overall. There were a lot of teams that had a similar vibe. Hey, we'd like to be in reverse if possible. That lends itself to being an interesting night in the NFL draft if the people who covered are correct and everyone's looking to move backwards.
Yeah, coming up on the other side, I actually want to tell you guys about a bet that I placed in preparation for the NFL draft. Rob, I don't know if you knew this or not. You cannot bet on the NFL draft in the state of Missouri. You can bet on the NFL draft in Kansas. So I was at home yesterday, and I'm looking through it, and I'm like, wait, I know I've seen the draft stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, it must be because I'm in Missouri, because when I got back across state line and then I pull up the app and then it adjusts, I see NFL draft right then and there. I really like this wager. I think it makes a lot of sense for the top 5. I'll tell you the order. We'll do that next. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up, head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. You can check stats, trends, matchups all in one place and make your picks with the utmost confidence. It's everything you need all in one app. So don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, official partner of the NBA and official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
Winning hits different with Fanatics Sportsbook when everything is on the line in the playoffs. And with the stakes this high, there's no better time to talk about my partnership with Fanatics Sportsbook and their one-of-a-kind fair play injury protection. There's no better place to bet player props than Fanatics Sportsbook, and Tuesday night proves my point again. San Antonio versus Portland. San Antonio's reigning defense player of the year goes down in the second quarter with an injury. Fanatics Fair Play voided all pro player prop bets across straights, parlays, and same-game parlays instantly. You paid $0 for that coverage, not a cent. Some books protect your bet for just the first quarter. Some have you pay for injury protection, but not at Fanatics Sportsbook. First half injuries hit the hardest, and that's exactly when we protect you. I got the numbers here. Fanatics Sportsbook's Fair Play policy saved 55% of SGPs. Don't wait for that bad bet with other books this playoffs. Bet with the book that always has your back. Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MIND-RESET.
At Busey, banking is about more than numbers. It's about relationships. For over 150 years, we've been helping individuals, families, and businesses reach their goals with personalized service and local decision-making. Whether you're opening your first account or planning your next big move, we're here with the tools and support to help you move forward with confidence. Busey Bank, your partner for life's moments, both big and small. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Gold, and right now I'm driving the new 2026 Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's a fully electric vehicle, saving some money on the high gas prices right now. And over at Shawnee Mission Ford, Ford has announced a great way for you to get that dream vehicle. $399 lease payments on Mustang EcoBoost, Bronco Sport Big Bend, or $499 lease payments on a Mustang GT or an Explorer Active. Get that vehicle of your dreams for only $399 or $499 a month, plus a $500 gas card on top of that. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more in 26. $999 down payment plus tax and fees for 36 months and 10,500 miles a year.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
The WNBA is coming to Kansas City. Don't miss your chance to see the Minnesota Lynx take on the Nigeria women's national team in a can't-miss exhibition showdown. It all goes down April 27th at the T-Mobile Center, featuring elite WNBA stars and world-class international talent in one fast-paced, high-energy matchup. This is your moment to witness greatness live. Tickets are on sale now. Lock in your seats today at T-MobileCenter.com before they're gone.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural, drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Lee Summit, new problem, 470 eastbound as you approach 50. Eastbound, it is the right lane that's blocked. We've got a crash and debris cleanup, 70 eastbound just past Blue Ridge Cutoff. It's the right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, so I told you guys this before. This is not a commercial for FanDuel, even though I do their commercials. You cannot bet on the NFL draft in Missouri. You can bet on the NFL draft in Kansas. Now, we've been doing these mock drafts for long enough. I'm cool to put a couple dollars down. I don't want you guys to think that I'm betting big on the NFL draft because I don't know. But I'm sitting there. I'm going to be watching it for the next 3 hours. You know what? I don't mind putting a little sprinkle, little $5 bets out there to see if I'm right or wrong or if I've been reading this thing correctly. So, Rob, let me tell you 3 bets that I have placed. Actually, I'll give you 4. You can get for 20-1 odds. So bet $5 to win $100. I'm willing to roll the dice. You are betting that this will be the order of the top 5. Mendoza, Reese, Bailey, Love, and Downs. You can get that right now at 20-1 over at FanDuel. I got it. This is my logic. Mendoza goes to the Raiders. The Jets draft Arvell Reese. I think if the Cardinals can't move out of the 3rd overall pick, I think they would take Bailey, or it gives me the possibility that a team like Kansas City or Dallas would move up to go get Bailey. I think the Titans want to put their number 1 overall pick quarterback with the best player on their board, which I think would be Jeremiah Love. And then I think the Giants are going to go off the board a little bit and take Caleb Downs because Harbaugh sees him as his Kyle Hamilton. So that's why I did it. It will probably not play that way because the NFL draft is unpredictable. But at 20-1, bet $5 to win $100. 1 through 5, Mendoza, Reese, Bailey, Love, Caleb Downs. That's what I have.
I'm actually fascinated by your logic here because I think if the Cardinals stick, they're going to take Maui Noah, the offense. That's the closest I'm going to get to it.
The offensive lineman from Miami.
The guy from the U.
You know what I know is about him is we'll never have to say his name again after today. That's what I'm looking forward to. We can just keep calling him the offensive lineman from Miami. Everybody knows who we're talking about. And then in what scenario would we be talking about an offensive lineman in Arizona? He'll be gone forever.
I mean, unless he becomes Orlando Pace, he's gone forever
yeah,
after.
For sure. We'll never talk about him again.
And by then, I'd learn his name. My point is, I'm surprised that your logic is if they stick, they're taking David Bailey. Because I feel like if they stick, they're going to take the offensive line. They're going to build backwards. They're going to get the line set up so that next year when you have a quarterback to pick, they will then be in a better position. And remember, their new head coach is an offensive-minded guy. So I'm surprised by your logic because I thought you were going to tell me you think someone is trading to 3 to get Bailey, but I think the hang-up in your logic is going to be that 3rd pick. 1 and 2, I agree with you. 4, I can't wait to make fun of the Titans for it. And then 5, it could go any number of directions.
5 can go in so many different directions. Like you could tell me they take Jordan Tyson with the 5th overall pick. I just think the value is going to be there for Downs if you think he's the best player. And I think you'll just say positional value, be damned, and we end up taking him. That was my logic. I like Arvell Reese to be the number 2 overall pick. I'm doubling down. Arvell Reese at minus 145. I think the Jets are going to end up taking Arvell Reese. I also like Ruben Bane to be selected in the top 10. I also like that at minus 145 as well. If Kansas City doesn't move up and Bane is on the board, I think they take him at 9. I think the worst case scenario for Bane today is 9. I think it's the worst case scenario. Maybe the Chiefs don't move up and we are overselling it and they just want to stay where they are. I don't think he's getting past Kansas City. I'm going to take Bane at minus 145 to be picked in the top 10. Those are the bets. I also took a little bit of a sprinkle. Everybody thinks that Ty Simpson's going to the Cardinals. I took a swing on the Rams. I could see the Rams just thinking ahead a little bit. We've got 2 first-round picks, so we can play around a little bit. We don't feel the need to play him this season. We'll let him sit behind Matthew Stafford, and we'll see what we got and go from there. So I took Ty Simpson to the Rams at 7-1.
So because I live in Kansas, I've been evaluating these markets more so than you have because you can't do it at home. I didn't know you couldn't do it in Missouri.
I didn't learn that until earlier today.
Now I'm trying to do the math in my head. The Brooksider tonight, we will have crossed state lines.
That's why I'm doing it right now. That's why I'm doing it right now.
So I'm trying to I got to get all mine in before I leave. My point is, you can pick a player in an exact draft location. Now, there's different value. Like Mendoza at 1 is not great value. I have Ruben Bane to be the 9th overall pick. I don't know the Chiefs are going to pay the King's ransom to get out of 9 to get up. So at plus 420 to lock in Ruben Bane at 9 is what I did earlier today. Maybe I end up being wrong and the Chiefs move or a team jumps the Chiefs for Bane. Dallas would be that team, but I was looking for a good value bet. Plus 420, Bane to go as the 9th overall pick was what I played.
Rob, if you can you hit the breaking news sounder? Dave Merritt has just ended his court appearance. I want to read to you what the Kansas City Star is reporting. We'll get to that here coming up in a bit. The last thing that I took, there was an over-under on Ty Simpson. It was at 29.5. I took the under. I think Ty Simpson goes a little bit earlier than that. There's just too much value in taking a quarterback, so I think he's going to go in the first round for sure today. All right, Rob, hit the breaking news, please.
The Drive. First to breaking news in Kansas City.
All right, so we told you guys earlier, Dave Merritt. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up the entire story here because I want to read it correctly for you guys. So this is the first part of the story, then I'll read the second part of the story because I don't want anybody to be confused. Dave Merritt, who is the defensive back coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, he was arrested and charged with misdemeanor domestic battery, according to court documents. It's all courtesy of the Star. Shortly after 9:30 earlier this morning, the Johnson County District Attorney's Office filed a complaint against Dave Merritt, accusing him of, quote, unlawfully, knowingly, or recklessly causing bodily harm to a daughter, which constitutes a domestic violence offense. He had an appearance earlier today at 2 o'clock. It would appear that appearance is over. This is from the Kansas City Star. Merritt has requested court-appointed counsel, and a public defender entered a non-guilty plea on his behalf. Prosecutors requested a $2,500 cash surety bond with a no-contact order since the alleged victim did not appear at the hearing. The public defender argued for a personal ROR bond since Merritt has no criminal history. We also know who he is. The Johnson County District Court Judge Wayne Smith set a $250 personal ROR bond with conditions of no alcohol, drugs, or firearm, or no contact with the victim of the alleged crime. Merritt asked the judge about how to adhere to the no contact order when the person lives in his home. Smith said that the order can be modified at a later date if the victim requests contact. His next court appearance is set for 3 o'clock on June 24th. That will be held via Zoom. So we have a little bit more clarity. That is a very, very good question from Dave Merritt. This person lives here. How can I have no contact with somebody who stays at my house? Very, very good question. We'll see how that situation gets handled, but that is all the information that I know. I guess I have one question. Dave Merritt doesn't have a lawyer?
That was weird to me, too. Not a problem, but you're Dave Merritt. You work for the Chiefs. You took the court-appointed defender?
I'm confused, I guess. I mean, I have a lawyer. I don't make Dave Merritt money, but I have a lawyer. If I had a court appearance at this, I wouldn't be going with the court-appointed counsel and public defender here. This just feels like you don't know anybody? Now, maybe the text line is going to say, oh, they were busy. I don't know. I'm just reading, person that makes good six-figure job got caught up in a legal issue with a very public job, and you went with the court-appointed legal assistant. That's not the direction I would have gone. Maybe he's thinking, I don't want to spend all that money because this is not that serious. But yeah, that's what we have. That is it. So he is out of jail, $250,000 or $2,500. He got
very different numbers.
Yeah, no, I just read it too fast. $2,500 personal ROR conditions: no alcohol, no drugs, no firearms. Makes sense. No contact with the victim. Somebody's got to move out of the house. I'm assuming will be her in this scenario, and we will see how this continues to go. I don't even want to speculate about what this could possibly be, even though I think you could kind of put two and two together. I'm just not going to speculate.
Yeah, there's too many questions to speculate. Like the one that keeps, like, people are like, well, how they live together. I don't know how old the daughter is. That's who the alleged victim is. Like, there's a lot of moving parts here that I just don't want to speculate on.
He's 54, so
you think she's probably
I find it hard to believe that this is a small child. I would assume that he has an older daughter.
I would agree, but even that leaves some ambiguity that leads to speculation.
Can I speculate? I mean, it's Sports Talk Radio. Can we speculate?
You just said you weren't for sure.
I mean, let me do it. This would be my speculation based off the bond. This is just what I would guess. I would guess that he and his daughter had an incident and they had a disagreement of, this is my house, this is my rules. And his daughter does not agree with that. That's just I don't know anything about it other than what I read. But he's 54. Daughter lives there, misdemeanor. We all know how teenage girls can be, teenage boys can be around that age. That is just my pure guess on what happened. This is not his wife, this is his daughter. I'm assuming she's a little older, she got a little mouth, they got into an argument with each other. You don't have to be here. This is my house, my rules. It got a little bit out of control. That is just my pure guess and speculation based on what I just read in the Kansas City Star. Coming up on the other side, we will get back to the NFL draft. We have had a lot of draft people on the show over the course of the last couple of months. We'll play the best of it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a stall. Left lane is blocked down at 435 eastbound just before Antioch. Scoot to the right through there. Lee Summit, that crash still working. 470 eastbound as you approach 50 eastbound. The right lane blocked there. 9 Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations: Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Replacing your HVAC doesn't have to be an emergency. Plan now, pay less later. For a limited time, take advantage of an HVAC replacement with financing starting as low as $149 a month. More options, better timing, and less stress for your home.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and there's a lot of reasons why you should buy from us. How about being Google's highest review rated and your first maintenance is free? Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. You'll fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
From north, central, south, the Balderston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale of the year is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right, you pay what we pay, plus mounting and balancing for only $30 per tire. Reserve yours at TELLEtire.com. Take care of your car, take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We have our sump pump special going. $200 off a main pump, $400 off a battery backup system. Call Connolly at 913-768-7676 or visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com.
Orioles coverage is brought to you by the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill. Game day starts here.
KC baseball fans, this is your headquarters. Every game, any screen, catch it all at the Brooksider. Cold drinks, great food, and the energy you want on game day. Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill. Game day starts here.
The Fans Draft Party is Thursday, April 23rd, live from the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill starting at 6 o'clock. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, we'll get back to the NFL draft. The text line is laughing at me, and I understand it. C-Dot, I always like when you say you don't want to speculate because the speculation that follows is always so funny. No, you're right. You're right. I did say I didn't want to speculate, but then sometimes it's quite literally the job. That's what I think happened with Dave Merritt. Based on what I am reading, that's what I think happened. For those of you that missed it, I'll tell you what I think happened. I will tell you. Let me refresh everything, and then I'll read it to you. So the defensive back coach for the Chiefs, he was in court earlier today. He is accused of, quote, unlawfully, knowingly, or recklessly causing bodily harm to a daughter, which constitutes a domestic violence offense. Someone on the text line said that in Kansas, which makes perfect sense, in order to be charged with domestic violence, the victim has to be over the age of 18. He is 54 years old. And then I am reading more of the story. So he was released on $2,500 cash bond. He cannot have contact with the alleged victim. The victim did not show up in court. He can't use drugs, can't use alcohol, can't have a firearm, can't have contact with the victim. He then asked the judge, How can I have no contact with this person when this person lives in my home? They said they'll figure it out. The judge said they'll figure it out. It can be modified if the victim is cool with you guys having contact and he has a future court appearance. Now, maybe you had this incident happen when you were a kid. Maybe you didn't have this incident happen when you were a kid. But just me putting 2 and 2 together, and Rob, you tell me if I'm off and we can move off of this. I am assuming that his somewhat older adult daughter, who maybe isn't an adult, like you can be 19 and not adult. You're still a kid in a lot of ways. I'm just assuming that the kid maybe just didn't want to follow all the house rules. You tried to talk to her. You guys had a disagreement. This is my house. I'm the one paying for everything. Emotion spilled over. It got a little bit out of control. Cops got called. That's what it sounds like to me. Maybe I end up being wrong in all of this. I'm not saying he is in the right. I'm not saying he's in the wrong. I have absolutely no clue what happened. I'm just sitting here reading to you. His age, little bit older daughter. She lives with him. They get into some kind of disagreement. I kind of feel like we all got in that disagreement at one point with our parents at 18, 19 years old. I'm going to go when I want to go. I'm going to do what I want to do. No, you can't. You still live here. Here's the rules. Here's the curfew. No, don't treat me like a child. But you still, we've all seen or heard this story before. That's what it seems like to me. So that is my speculation for the day. We continue to get Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel pictures. We continue to get them. We have gotten pictures from 2020. We have gotten pictures for them in 2024. We have pictures with them a couple of months ago when they were in Arizona. I find it kind of hard to believe that neither spouse of these individuals was unaware of what was going on. You're telling me that your husband and wife can be out here cheating for 6 years and you just have absolutely no clue that this was going on? Now, I will say this. Maybe he didn't know. Now, I love us fellas. Men are kind of stupid. Like, there's a chance that your girl could be stepping out on you and you have absolutely no clue. It's possible. If you, as a man, have been cheating for 6 years with another woman, your wife knows. 100% she knows. You are not that slick. You are not that sly. Maybe you got away with it for some amount of time. You didn't get away with it for nearly as long as you thought you did. She just didn't want to bring it up for whatever reason. So I find it hard to believe that Mrs. Vrabel was just completely unaware for 6 years that her husband was in a relationship with another woman. I just find it hard to believe. But they got kids together. He's the breadwinner. I'm not here to judge their life. But I find it hard to believe that your husband or wife could be cheating on you for 6 years, it would appear. They got a picture of them kissing each other in a bar in New York. They got a picture of them at the roulette wheel. Look like they're having a great old time. They're so comfortable with each other. They are going on vacations with one another. I find it hard to believe that you just found out they were cheating from the New York Post. You knew before.
So, A, I agree with you. B, how are these photos just now coming out? You're telling me in 2020, Mike Vrabel is the coach of the Tennessee Titans. He's at a New York City bar with Diana Rossini months before her wedding, who at the time, she was still, I believe, on ESPN, a prominent NFL reporter. Someone just had this photo for the last 6 years? The TMZ one that just came out was when he had gotten fired from the Titans. He and Diana Rossini are having a grand old time. Looks like they're having a little couple's day at the casino. How has someone been sitting on these photos for 5 and 6 years and they are just now leaking out? I don't understand that part of it. Like, maybe you had a private investigator. That's what I originally thought. But there's too many photos now that are coming out.
Yeah, I guess I think for the most part, people just mind their own business and don't care. Like, Rob, just if you and I were at Hollywood Casino and we saw Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini, would you take out your phone and take a picture of them together? Like, I just wouldn't do that. So I think a lot of people are in that same way. Now,
no, but the people who did take the photo have been sitting on it for 6 years.
Now, maybe this is the thing. Let's continue this speculation now. If we're here at the speculation segment, let's just keep it the speculation segment. If you are trying to get a bunch of evidence to eventually leave the other person and A, take money, or B, not have to give them as much money, wouldn't it be in your best interest to present to the court, hey, I got evidence that they have been cheating this entire time? Like, this is purposeful to me. Think about it. We have gotten pictures in different waves. These are not just random people that have been doing this. No, this is coordinated. This is either her husband or his wife knew about this. They have been taking these pictures. Enough was enough. They got fed up. Maybe they gave you an ultimatum. You got to leave this person. I'm sick of you treating me like this. You chose not to leave, and they eventually broke it. And then we'll find out later that they're done, that they're got a divorce. That's what it feels like to me, at least. I'm just saying is, you've been following these people for 6 years, 7 years. Who was that invested in Diana Rossini? Who would have been taking a picture of Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel in a bar in 2020 other than somebody that was specifically looking for these two people?
In a New York City bar, because she's from Philadelphia, I believe, and Vrabel at the time was coaching the Titans. Like that, that adds to it. It is it's become the story of the draft. Now, maybe tonight some offensive lineman is in a gas mask taking bong hits, and we get that story that leaks out. But you talk about there's always one big story from the draft. The big story is Rossini and Vrabel apparently have been dating or appear to have been dating for a long time.
Yeah, no, for sure. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, can you not get paid a ton of money for having that photo? There's a lot of reasons to take that photo. I don't know if there is any reason to think in 2020 that if you see Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel kissing each other, that you are now about to hit some kind of windfall. Because why didn't you turn it in instantly?
I say, if you felt that way, why didn't you take the win in 2020?
100%. Now, I'm not going to say there are some people that if you saw them out, if you saw Travis Kelce out with another woman and you took a picture of it, yes, you ain't getting 4 or 5. You're getting tens of thousands of dollars if you had that picture. You were getting $100,000. Travis Kelce, who was engaged to the most famous woman in the world, possibly, yes, that's a very, you would not think taking a picture of Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel playing roulette together, you would not think, oh, I'm coming up off of this picture, unless you were specifically looking for these two people and trying to get a bunch of evidence. The release of this has been coordinated. It's been coordinated. They've been treating this like an album release is what they've been doing. They dropped the single a couple of weeks ago. The single was a smash. And ever since then, they've been dropping little breadcrumbs leading up to today, which is the bombshell. On the day of the NFL draft, funny enough, Rob, it is 10 years removed from the Laramie Tunsil. Remember the Laramie Tunsil with the gas mask? My man was, I was supposed to clean my room. 10 years ago, that was today. On the 10 years ago, we're going to drop these bombshells. I got them kissing. I got them at the casino. I made both of them look silly today. Diana Rossini looks goofy after her defiant letter of resignation that she released where she didn't admit to anything. At this point, I'd stop it. I mean, come on now. I told you, Rob, I said the moment we saw the pictures, in what world would you be off with somebody that is not your spouse, hugged up, looking at the sunset? That is not something that friends do with each other. That is something that people who are in a relationship do with each other. We are sharing a very intimate moment together. So I didn't really need all the rest of these pictures. But if you were on the fence, oh, we don't know. No, we know. You ain't hugging and kissing on somebody at Green Lady Lounge if y'all not together or you not trying to be with her. You guys are not going on vacation together. I said this a couple of days ago. If she was on a girls' trip, how have we never seen the pictures? Tell me what group of attractive women are going to an expensive resort and not taking pictures of what they're doing. This was nonsense from the very, very beginning. So more and more, I'm buying the PI. One of their spouses found out what the other one was doing. They probably confronted them with them. You need to stop. Leave this person. They couldn't leave each other alone. A tale as old as time because horny is undefeated. And now they're going to blow up the spot. You made me look silly. I'm going to make you look silly in front of the whole world. I'm going to embarrass you. I told you to stop talking to him. You wouldn't stop talking to him. All right, I'm about to make you look goofy in front of everybody. And I'm about to take half of your money. That's what this feels to me.
It is. Last question on this. Well, I know we have Eric Edholm coming on. Do you think more pictures leak out tonight?
I don't think it matters after today.
No, I meant tonight. We're all watching the draft, hanging out. Do we think at some point on social media there's like a news story? Ian Rappaport reporting that.
Yeah, maybe today, but after today, I don't think so. I think
agree.
This is the end of the story.
But I think there are more photos tonight that come out. I think
some of the text line says, who cares? It's private. I think there's a chance he gets fired because of this, especially with the rumor that is going around on the internet. If that rumor is true, Mike Vrabel can no longer be the coach of the Patriots. You know the one I'm talking about. If that rumor is true about all of this, there is no chance that he is continuing to be the Patriots. Now, if that's it, if this is where it dies, it's just, they were doing that. But if that's true and they end up, and this is a Billie Jean situation, yeah, Mike Vrabel is getting fired at some point in the next couple of months. So that's why I think it matters. That's why I think people are paying attention to it. This story, it has, I would say, continued to grow and grow and grow. And certainly the bombshell got dropped today. Coming up on the other side, we'll get back to the NFL draft. Eric Edholm's going to join us on the show. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
In a field of thousands, one has emerged. Back from the brink, now poised to take its rightful place amongst the greatest lawns of all time. It's the birth of a true turf champion, and a story that will live on at summer barbecues and in neighborhood group chats for all time. Your lawn is back, baby, and it's Weedman for the win. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get one free service.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Taking a look at the futures market in pro hockey to win the Eastern Conference. Carolina the favorite at plus 160, followed by Tampa at plus 300, Buffalo at plus 650, Philly at plus 750, Montreal at plus 800. And if I'm looking for a longer shot price, I'm going to take a look at Philly. Philly up 3-0 in its first round series against Pittsburgh. Carolina has been playoff choke artists over the last couple years. I think Philly can beat Carolina and get to the Eastern Conference Final. Give me Philly at plus 750 to win the East. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Rob Side Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Rob Side Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Everything you knew about reaching customers online is being rewritten. Time to rethink your approach. Outcomes from Viant finds real customers, not impressions, not clicks, customers. Our AI maximizes every dollar of your budget against the outcomes that matter most and proves it happened. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. The countdown to the World Soccer Championship is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. Visit bluekc.com/benefit of blue for more information. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Kansas side of things, we've got a stall, and it's K10 westbound just past K7. Part of the right lane blocked here. We've got up near Liberty, that stall still affecting things. 35 northbound past 291 highway. Scoot to the left through here. I do see a lot of red. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. We will end the speculation portion of today's show. I don't know. Sometimes I love a good speculation. It's been a lot of Jerry Springer storylines in today's show. But let's get back to the meat and potatoes. We had our dessert. Let's get back to the meat and potatoes. So let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Eric Edholm. He is with NFL.com. He covers the NFL draft. Eric, M-I-Z, happy to have you on the show today. We've been asking everybody this question. Where is this year's draft strong? Where is this year's draft weak?
Strength of the draft is at certain positions. I think offensive tackle, you're going to see quite a bit go tonight. There is a drop-off. I think you have to sort of point that out, but edge rusher has to be considered one of the stronger positions. I think we have a few guys that have star potential, pretty good depth on day 2, and I think it stretches into day 3. I'd also put wide receiver up there. I think, you could make an argument for safety, linebackers, some unusual positions that have some different depth this year than we're used to. But I would say maybe the strength of the wide receiver class because it has some of the blue chip guys. But the weakness, I would say blue chip players. I mean, I think the lack of clear-cut sort of few question prospects is pretty low right now. And some of those guys include Jeremiah Love, a running back, Caleb Downs, a safety, positions that are a little lower on the importance scale, if you will. But, yeah, the weakness probably comes in the interior offensive line, interior defensive line. Quarterback certainly is a little weaker than normal, and running back drops off pretty quickly.
Do you see David Bailey as being one of those blue chip kind of players? He's at the top of my list for the Chiefs.
Yeah, great speed rusher, and I think he went up against some good tackles this year too, and gave a lot of them fits. I mean, he was a productive guy. I think he fits sort of the mold of your classic speed rusher. I'd like to see him get a little stronger in the NFL, but I think he can do it. I don't know that he's quite on that no questions asked list, but he's pretty darn close. I mean, I think it would be surprising to me if he wasn't at least a semi-productive pro, and I think he has a chance to be better than that even. So, yeah, he's right up there in my top 5, and I think he's going to be one of the surer bets that teams make. Now, how far does he get? Could he go 2? Yes. Could he fall a little bit? Yes. I'd be fascinated to see if he's even a trade-up candidate as well.
I was going to ask you that. Do you think he's a player that Kansas City would trade up for? Because I take a team like the Giants that have clearly shown that they're open for business. I would be completely for Kansas City moving up from 9 to 5 to go get David Bailey.
Yeah, and you've got the Saints at number 8 too, a team to watch that have been, obviously they've been very active in the past, a lot of trades. I think they're one to watch as a candidate as well. So, I don't know if we're going to get a flurry of trades, but I think we'll get some, and I think in some important spots. That 7, 8, 9 spot to me is a really interesting window, and if teams are looking to get ahead of that, whether it's Cleveland at 6 or going all the way up to Arizona at 3, those feel like trade down spots to me. I don't know exactly how much activity there'll be, but I think, tackle and edge rusher, I think will be the first positions you see someone attempt to move up for, and then maybe wide receiver after that. But Bailey would be in the mix. If he doesn't go 2 to the Jets, if Arvell Reese is the pick, then all of a sudden you have to ask, do the Cardinals like him? Are they going in a different direction, running back, go tackle, whatever? And then we kind of start to watch and see how far he goes.
Right now, we're talking to Eric Edholm with NFL.com, getting his thoughts as we are preparing for round 1 of the NFL draft. Let's talk about another prospect, Ruben Bane. I think if you had to go through realistic options, Chiefs fans would have him number 1 on the list. How do you evaluate him? How do you think he translates to the next league?
Yeah, I think at first I was sort of going by the traditional benchmarks of what the Chiefs seek and saying, well, maybe he's not a fit for Steve's defense. But the more time has gone on, I kind of realized that, look, he's been in the league a long time, Steve Spagnuolo. I think he understands a good football prospect when he sees it. And I think he will be a very strong option for Kansas City. And look, I mean, you can compare him size-wise to Dee Ford, who had a stretch there where he was among the better pass rushers in the league and obviously did it in Kansas City. So there are some examples from the past where you could say, hey, it worked for them previously under Andy. Maybe it can work again. I don't know. I think he's one of about 3 teams that make the most sense. I put him Miami at 11. I didn't really know exactly where to place him, but that was sort of based on the thinking that maybe the Chiefs are prioritizing offensive tackle. Maybe they realize that run is coming, and then when they swing back, if they can't get a trade up at all, they may be, left with their hands empty a little bit. So I could see Bane. I could see a tackle. Certainly corners another position you got to address at some point. But, Bane has to be in the mix, I would think.
We'll get to offensive line here coming up in a bit. I want to follow up with Ruben Bane. There's been a lot made about his arm length. Is that something that worries you for him at the next level?
It's not like I watched his tape and said, aha, okay, there's that arm length showing up again, right? I mean, he's getting stoned here, and, he's unable to disengage from blocks and such. I didn't really see that as a major problem for him. And I think what he's been able to do is get creative and also use his core strength very well. You saw him at the pro day kind of bending and dipping and ripping and doing all these things that some people wondered whether he could do or not. But I think he's got a full bag of tricks, I should say, as a pass rusher. And, he works with what he has very well. And so he combines power, speed, and great handwork as well. But I think it's only going to be an issue against some of the really longer arm tackles and the ones who are at the very top of their game. And I think for the most part, you can still find ways to give them a track to the quarterback.
So let's talk about offensive line. I'm sure you see it on social media. Chiefs fans would absolutely hate if they went with an offensive tackle at number 9. Why do you think it would be a good idea? Why do you think it would be a bad idea?
I think if they have long-term concerns, or even short-term for that matter, about Josh Simmons, and they don't feel like Jalen Moore is a starting tackle, if they've seen enough to think that, we should only be, using him in certain situations, or, that's not the ideal spot, then I could see them prioritizing. And again, going back to what I was saying earlier, which is that I think teams know that these tackles are going to go pretty fast. And what's interesting to me is talking to different teams, how they view these tackles. Not everybody sees them the same. I guess that's not shocking, right? But some of the guys who played left tackle in college football may not do so in the NFL. Obviously we know Andy in the past has typically leaned towards the larger athletes and use those guys in those spots, but it hasn't always been the case. And I'll be fascinated to see if there's one that they feel is ahead of everybody else. We've heard a few different names. I mean, Spencer Fano's been mentioned as a possibility. Some teams don't like him as a left tackle. Some teams don't like him as a tackle at all. So Francis Mauigoa, I mean, could easily project him to right tackle. Could also see him being a better guard in the NFL than outside. So, that also factors into it. If they don't feel there's a player who is best served by playing tackle, then it becomes a real question of value at that point.
Let's move to the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about the secondary. It's no question the Chiefs are going to need to grab a corner at some point. Mansour Delane is a name that has been projected to Kansas City. Do you like him as a prospect?
I think there is some overlap to what Delane did last year at LSU, more so than previously in his career. But certainly the way he played was kind of similar to the last year Trent McDuffie had in college, and there's some similarities to their games. I'm not saying they're the same player, but you could watch both of them and see how the Chiefs would like both. And I've always kept it as a possibility. I don't think it's option number one, but again, we've also heard talk about the Chiefs moving around a little bit in this draft, so you never know. I mean, there hasn't been that one team that I've said, that's a Mansour Delane team, and I'm going to just lock it in, or they feel like they're the most likely one. There are a few options. I mean, if New Orleans is moving, if Kansas City is staying nimble, Dallas at 12, it's been hard to kind of figure out, are they going defense with both of their first rounders, or could they pivot and go receiver? There's not that one team that I'm just sort of locked in with him, and maybe he slips a tiny bit, but if they don't get him, I think at the end of round one, Colton Hood from Tennessee makes a lot of sense. Kind of fits that feisty, long arm corner that Spagnuolo seems to like.
Do you think it's more likely that the Chiefs trade up or down from the 9th overall pick?
I think they'll look into moving up, and especially, if there's an edge that they like better than sitting back and waiting for Bane to come to them, if they feel like they can go up and get either a Bailey or an Arvell Reese, that opportunity exists. I think they'll look hard into it. We know they're active. We know they work the phones. We know they're not willing to just kind of sit on their hands and let everything happen. So I would probably guess 9, but I'm also thinking that there's a strong possibility that they can move up from the bottom as well.
Let me ask you about wide receiver here. I felt like there was a little bit of a momentum towards wide receiver for Kansas City at 9. I feel like that's kind of died off the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I thought I considered it. You look at those 4 positions: edge, wide receiver, offensive tackle, and what am I forgetting? Corner. Yeah. So those are the 4 that I've kind of been focused on with the first round picks. We know they have a second rounder at 40 coming up pretty quick after that as well. Obviously, you can't knock out all 4 needs, but as time has gone on and teams have gotten more comfortable with, Jordan Tyson's medicals, as teams have kind of warmed up to Boston, maybe as a later first-round pick, or, kind of just sorted through things. And I think on the whole, the receiver class has come out with a little bit more sheen, but not everybody is narrowing it down to that spot. I think everybody kind of looks to and says, look, you can maybe get a Ted Hurst in round 2 or a Skylar Bell, and there's some pretty good options there. So, again, it's tempting, but I also think they have the ability to come swing back later. I think there will be some 3rd and 4th round receivers who maybe we're not talking Puka Nacua levels of shocking, but I think there'll be some guys who end up being, on that sort of Pro Bowl, cusp, if you will, that are almost that good that come in the later parts of this draft.
Do you think Caleb Downs is a possibility at 9?
I would think so. I don't know if he's, again, the first choice. He's a little limited in terms of physical size, and athleticism is very good, but I don't know that it's exceptional for a top 10 safety usually. But this year, man, I don't know. I think with all the question marks in that phase of the draft, everybody has some kind of wart on him. And I would think taking a guy who's as cerebrally gifted as Downs appears to be, he's got football in his blood. You could see it on the tape, him anticipating before the snap, baiting quarterbacks into throws, just being able to be where he needs to be prior to the ball arriving. And that's such a skill that matters at that position. he checks off a lot of boxes that aren't those physical barriers, and I think that would be a good sell for him. And why not? I mean, if Dallas is willing to take him at 12, why wouldn't Kansas City be? I know it's not on the list of priority positions, but I would strongly consider it if that option is there.
I'll get you out of here with this last question. This can be Chiefs or otherwise. What's your big prediction heading into round one? There's always one thing that just completely shocks us and blows our mind. What do you think that could be tonight?
Well, probably the Browns taking somebody nobody expects, right? I mean, that's the easiest low-hanging fruit in the draft, I would say. But no, I mean, I think just because of the number of teams that have multiple first-round picks, it's going to lead to some chaos. And I think we're going to see a couple surprise names. You know, Malachi Lawrence, I think, is a possibility for the Chiefs in that later part of round one if they don't go edge rusher first. I wouldn't be shocked by Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker, somebody late in round one taking a chance on him. Otherwise, early day two. But, yeah, what about Tyson being the first receiver off the board? That could be a surprise as well. The first, though, tackle could be someone we're not expecting as well. I've heard Freeling is a possibility. I don't believe it, but I've had people tell me they think he could be the first one taken. So I think those are the kinds of surprises we're going to see in this draft. Some unexpected trades, the order of certain positions going differently we anticipated, all the things that we thought have been locked in for a month. Maybe they're up for some debate tonight.
How do you think the 8-minute time allotment is going to affect the draft?
It'll make me less tired tomorrow. I think that's the biggest thing, and I'm thankful for that. But yeah, I mean, does that slim down the possibility for trades a little bit? Sometimes you see these videos after the draft where, you know, in the war room where a minute and a half left and they're still kind of hammering out the details of a move. So it's possible you either have to get on your horse a little earlier, 2, 3, 4 picks out and start working out the details, or you know, you better have those offers handy and ready to go ahead of time. So when you get on the clock, these things can happen quickly. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what the actual impact is, if anything.
That is our guy, Eric Edholm, joining us on the show today. Eric, great stuff, man. Enjoy round one.
All right, you too as well, man.
Absolutely. That's Eric Edholm joining us on the show. Text line 913-586-7965. I think I know the answer that you guys are going to have, but I don't mind asking the question. Do you think it's more likely that the Chiefs move up at 9 or move out of 9? I said this earlier in the show. If you just started listening, perfectly fine. I'm not super interested in discussing 29 today. I'm interested in discussing 29 tomorrow once we know who it is. But at 29, they can literally do anything. There really won't be a scenario in which I am unhappy with who they get at the 29th overall pick. I don't love Kenyon Sadiq, but if you get Kenyon Sadiq, who, just to give you a frame of reference, Rob, his over-under on where he can get drafted is at 15.5. If Kenyon Sadiq is there at 29 and you take him, great. Super athletic kid. You're not counting on him a whole lot this year. He can learn behind Travis Kelce. Like, you can talk me into just about any selection that they make at 29 because anything is on the board. Rob, before we get back to number 9, is there anything they can do at 29 that would confuse you or upset you? You got to think. They're obviously not taking a quarterback. We're not talking about they're taking Ty Simpson at 29. They're not drafting a running back at 29. They're not taking the Price kid who also went to Notre Dame. What could they possibly do at 29 that would make you scratch your head coming up today?
Because they're not going to take middle linebacker because it's just what? Sonny Styles, like, not, yeah. It's like he's the only one. Like,
they could do anything at 29.
Is there another? There's not another safety in the draft in the first round other than Caleb Downs.
I'm saying even if they took a safety, I don't know how you could be mad.
That's true.
The Chiefs have there's only about 4 positions on the field that you would say the Chiefs don't have an immediate need. They don't have an immediate need at left tackle. They don't have an immediate need at quarterback, center, right guard. I'm sure there's a couple positions on defense. But, I mean, for the most part, this team could use a plug-and-play starter. A plug-and-play. So if you draft a defensive tackle, good. You draft a defensive lineman, you draft a linebacker, you draft a safety, you draft a wide receiver. They could take the Eli Stover's kid from Vanderbilt. You can do anything literally at 29, and it will make all the sense in the world to me. That's why I haven't really talked about 29, because I just don't think it's that interesting. I think 9 is very, very interesting. I think it's far more likely that they move up than move back. For this logic, they will, in theory, knock on wood. I I don't really want another season like last year. Last year was not fun. Last year cost us money. It cost everybody money. I was loving seeing the ratings in January. You guys were listening up a storm. Oh, we love football. It wasn't good for me. I don't think the Chiefs are going to be in this situation to get a prospect like a Bailey. Even if you're not that high on Bane, he's what, the third best defensive player people think in this draft class, fourth best defensive player? They very rarely get that opportunity to get that kind of player. I do think they're going to seize it. I think the Chiefs are going to seize the opportunity, and I think they're going to move accordingly knowing what they have. I don't think the Chiefs are here now to move out of the 9th overall pick, move back to 13, but pick up a couple of mid-round picks in exchange so they can get some depth pieces. I don't want the Chiefs thinking depth pieces. I want the Chiefs going up there swinging for the fences. That's what I want them doing. I don't want them to just put the ball in play. Because to me, trading back is trying to put the ball in play. Oh, we want to get some more draft picks. No, you got the 9th overall pick. Let's take a big swing. Let's go get a Mekhi Lemon. Let's go get a Mansour Delane. Let's go get a David Bailey. Let's go get a guy who people will want to go buy their jersey. That's what I want them to do today.
I feel largely the same way, but I agree with you. It's more likely they trade up than down. But let me just make the argument for down, even though Brett Veach's history would tell you he's not a trade down guy. I mean, just think about how he operates in the draft. It's usually, who was it earlier said stick and pick. That's what he does. Or it's trade up. He traded up for Xavier Worthy. He traded up for Trent McDuffie. He traded up, if you want to give him credit for Patrick Mahomes, he did that one too. He traded up for Breland Speaks. He's a trade up kind of guy. So I agree with you, but let me just make the argument for trade down. The Chiefs could use a lot of picks and assets, and if this draft is mid at the top, which everyone is telling you.
So I want more mid assets in this year's NFL draft?
Take more shots. If there's only 3 A+ guys and everyone else is an A- to a C+, I'd rather have a large net to cast to get the guys that are in the A- to C+ range as opposed to hope and pray one of the A+ guys falls to me. That would be the logic. It's not going to happen, but that would be my logic.
Yeah, I'm not going to be, if the Chiefs end up moving back, for example, now, I guess maybe this also matters too. Who are they giving up to trade back? Like, let's say in this example, let's say that the Cowboys miss out and they don't want to go spend the premium to go get David Bailey. Are the Chiefs willing to trade out of 9 to 12 and move back with Dallas and let Dallas take Ruben Bane? Now, that's interesting because that's a player we think Kansas City would really want. That's a guy we think would be pretty high up on the board. Who do they get? So there's certainly some scenarios where, let's say they get Mekhi Lemon at 12, they then pick up a pick, they let the Cowboys get Ruben Bane, and now we can track it for the next 7 years or so if the Chiefs ended up making the right decision. But my philosophy would be, I want you to swing for the fences. I want you to swing hard and swing far. I want you to look for a true impact player. So if that means at 74 you can't draft Jalen Royals, fine, I don't care. Go get the 7th overall pick and go get a guy that you think could anchor your defense. We have had a lot of draft people on the show over the course of the last couple of weeks. We'll hear from the best of them. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
Losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hey, it's Gold, and right now I'm driving the new 2026 Ford Mustang Mach-E. It's a fully electric vehicle, saving some money on the high gas prices right now. And over at Shawnee Mission Ford, Ford has announced a great way for you to get that dream vehicle. $399 lease payments on Mustang EcoBoost, Bronco Sport Big Bend, or $499 lease payments on a Mustang GT or an Explorer Active. Get that vehicle of your dreams for only $399 or $499 a month, plus a $500 gas card on top of that. Shawnee Mission Ford is on a mission to do more in 26. $999 down payment plus taxes and fees for 36 months and 10,500 miles a year.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Hey, it's Tyler Reddick from 2311 Racing. Most slot games are a solo lap. Slot Masters on Chumba Casino puts you on the grid with 2 other players. Battle it out over a 2-minute run. Everyone's spinning at once, points stacking up, and the leaderboard updating before the clock hits 0. Are you ready to race? With over 200 casino-style games and new ones dropping every week, there's always something new to line up for. Join the fun at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in the state where it's legal to play.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
North KC, biggest problem we've got, 35 southbound, the exit to Armour Road, 210 Highway. You will tap your brakes through here. I see a lot of red, and it looks like a 2-car crash. Stall 35 northbound past Antioch. Right lane is blocked. Headed up from Grandview, 49 northbound at Blue Ridge Boulevard. Left lane blocked. That's a 2-car crash. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to read this text, and I don't want the person who I'm responding to, I don't want them to read this like I think they're asking a bad question or making a silly point. It's more just for a broader conversation. C-Dot, I think in the argument of trading up or trading back, it's a value judgment if you think that trading up is worth it for someone you are overpaying for. I think our conversation about the NFL draft is a little bit flawed in this. Who determines what value is in the NFL draft? It's the media, right? It's not like general managers release mock drafts on where they think guys are going to go. So when Eric Edholm, and I love Eric Edholm, if he tells you somebody's a second-round value and they go in the first round, you're like, ooh, we got great value. How is Eric Edholm the one to determine the value? Ultimately, there's only one draft that determines the value. It's the one that actually takes place. And in the end, it is a very simple pass or fail. Did it work or not work? It's really that simple when it comes to it. If you end up getting it right, no one cares that you traded up and gave up other assets to acquire that player because you got it right. And if you get it wrong, it does not matter that you got a steal in the NFL draft. No one cares then. So I understand it. Like, there's going to be somebody like, oh, they overdrafted him. They could have got him at 40. Who is that information based on? That's based on Dale Jeremiah? That's based on Albert Breer? Or is that based on the 32 NFL general managers? Because that's the only draft that we can compare it to based on how they feel a player should be slotted. So I just reject the notion that a guy can be overdrafted because how are we assessing its value other than media mock drafts?
That's fair. How we assess it. I imagine general managers in their war rooms have better breakdowns.
But I'm just saying is we never get access to all that
yes.
information with all of the teams, right? We do not get that information.
Correct.
So if we got that information, then I can tell you one way or the other. I've never seen the Chiefs draft board, so I can't tell you how they value this player in relation to another player. So yes, sometimes they will be shocked at a guy that is still there. Sometimes a guy that they really love will go earlier or sooner, but we just don't get all that information. We only get one piece of information, what actually happens today, tomorrow, and the weekend. That determines the value, and then we see ultimately if you got it right or wrong. But you don't remember if they traded up or not for Trey Smith. All you know is that it worked.
Especially in the late rounds. In the late rounds, when you move up for someone, kind of just disappears to the ether. If early rounds, I think it's held to a higher standard. If you trade up for someone, even if they're good, people think, oh, did you? But in the late rounds, you're right. No one knows if you trade up or down for a player.
Yeah, and I guess I disagree with this too. Text line 913-586-7965. See, I don't really think you can assess a value on a draft until 3 or 4 years after the fact. Then you can see where the players are. Yeah, I think you know a lot sooner than that in 2026 in the NFL draft. Maybe that was the case before, but I don't know if in 2026, I don't know if I need 4 years to determine whether or not the draft was good or bad. For example, the 2024 draft for the Chiefs, Xavier Worthy, Kingsley Suamataia, Jared Wiley, Jaden Hicks, Hunter Norzad, Kamal Hayden, CJ Hansen. You guys need more time to evaluate this draft class? How much more time do you need? Because I'm ready to turn my grade in. You remember when you were a kid and you finished a test so fast, it would surprise the teacher? Wait, you're done already? Yeah, I studied. I don't know what to tell you. I studied for this. I know all the answers. I don't need to take 45 minutes. I got it done in 25. Yeah, I don't need much more information on this year's draft class before I know. I feel pretty confident 2 years in on what grade I would give that draft class.
I think I'm not defending that point. I think people would say right now you feel X about Xavier Worthy, but if he gets better in year 3, then the grade might change. Like, I do think there's that. Like,
how much? I'm not trying to be funny. How much better do we think Xavier Worthy is going to get in his NFL career?
I don't get hung up in the minutia. You're right. I don't. But like, for a player who, like, let's say a player like JSN, I'll cherry pick a good player. His first year, he had 600 yards. I'm sure people in Seattle after year 1 were like, "Oh, I know how to give this grade."
Yeah,
and then he exploded and became a star.
In year 2, I'm saying is JSN is a good example. His rookie year, he had 63 catches for 628 yards. His second year, he got 100 catches for 1,100 yards. You had a good idea at the end of year 2. Hey, JSN's got a chance to be really, really good. Now, he then became maybe the best receiver in the league the next year, but it's not like we can say JSN came out of nowhere. I would be very, very surprised if Xavier Worthy had 1,000 yards next year. I'd be floored if that ended up being the case. Because if you think that Rice in a contract year is going to ball out, and you think that Kelsey's going to have a good year in his last year, and they just got Kenneth Walker, so he's going to have a good year, you want them to take a wide receiver in the top 40 picks, you got to assume that guy's going to play and get yards. How many more yards do you think Xavier Worthy gets? Let's say he gets 700 yards. That's a career high. That radically changes your draft grade from 2 years ago?
No, again, that's the answer for me, but I do think like there is still a little bit of movement that can happen in drafts. Like, I know it's a different year. If Noel Williams turns into Trent McDuffie, the way you view 2025 probably changes dramatically over 2-3 years. Like, I kind of agree with the texter a little bit, but I don't think you see a draft go from, let's say you have 2024 to C+, just making up a grade. I don't think by the end of 2027,
it don't go to A.
It doesn't go to A.
Yeah,
it goes like B at the most, and that's if things go monumentally different.
Oh, 100%. Someone says, CDOT, the jury is still out on Jaden Hicks. Maybe. I mean, we are at the end of year 2, and he's made 4 starts in his NFL career. He's made 4 starts. So, I mean, you're right. He's going to get a chance to play, but if they draft Caleb Downs, the jury ain't out. They don't think that kid's that good. They don't think he can play. You wouldn't spend the 9th overall pick on a safety if you felt that way about this kid. So you're right. There's still more time. I don't think that draft class is an F. I'm just simply pointing out, I think we know kind of early on whether or not you got something. It didn't take me 3 years to know the Nick Bolton, Creed Humphrey, Noah Gray, Trey Smith class. We knew pretty early on they hit on that year's draft. And that's why, at least with this one, if you were looking at the picks that they have 9, 29, 40, and 74. It is not going to take you 4 years to realize if they got it right at 9. You're going to know pretty early on if they got it right at 9. You'll know in the first 24 games of that player's career whether or not they got it right or wrong with whomever they ultimately decide. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, let's reset things. I've been teasing that we have all this draft audio. I'm sure we'll play it at some point. We basically have to delete it after today anyway. But Rob, I wrote down the 4 paths that I think exist for the Chiefs with the 9th overall pick. I'll share with you what they are. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
North KC, biggest problem we've got, 35 southbound, the exit to Armour Road, 210 Highway. You will tap your brakes through here. I see a lot of red, and it looks like a 2-car crash. Stall 35 northbound past Antioch. Right lane is blocked. Headed up from Grandview, 49 northbound at Blue Ridge Boulevard. Left lane blocked. That's a 2-car crash. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. Shop Wayfair's Way Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. 0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits, Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-518-3899. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-518-3899. That's 800-518-3899. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most. That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens. BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA, has a special offer for the playoffs. Sign into your existing BetMGM account and snag a NBA playoff odds boost token. Then take your shot at scoring more on your next win. Simply log in, add qualifying bet on the NBA playoffs to your bet slip, and activate the token. If you win your wager with the token attached, you'll pull down extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Talk about a fast break. Make BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA, your home for playoffs action with bonuses like odds boost tokens and more. Claim your odds boost token for the NBA playoffs and get in the game today. Make betting the playoffs more exciting. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Join us at the Fans Draft Party at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill on April 23rd for your chance to win $965 in our draft contest. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey, right now in the media, it's you got to protect your sides, man. I mean, you got to protect your rib cage, those sides. You got to protect the mac and cheese. You got to protect the baked beans. Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel clearly had a girlfriend with a wife on the side. We are finding out. Sharon Moore, you guys might remember him. He was the head coach of Michigan. He crashed out. He got fired. He on probation now. His mistress is sitting down on the day of the NFL draft. Your mistress is sitting down doing an interview with Good Morning America. Just fellas out here living bad right now. That's all I can say, man. I mean, that's all I can say. Sharon Moore, your mistress is sitting down. She's crying on Good Morning America. She's telling us all your personal business. It's just, it's not good out here. That's the best way I can put it. It's not good out here. Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. I am in a good mood today. Rob is also in a good mood today. I am in a good mood for two different reasons, and we'll get to the draft. Number one, I'm in a good mood. I'm tired of talking about the NFL draft. I'm not tired of talking about once we know the picks. Like, once we know who the 9th pick is, let's dive deep. Once we know who the 29th pick is, do they move up? Do they move back? Man, we've been speculating. We've gone all around the board. Do you want Jeremiah Love? Do you want Caleb Downs? Positional value. Do you like this player? Would you trade up? Would you trade back? I don't have any more scenarios for the Kansas City Chiefs. I have no more hypothetical trades for the Kansas City Chiefs. We are finally here. Thanks for being with us. So this is where I want to start, Rob. I wrote down the 4 possible lanes I think exist for the Chiefs. Now, there's probably more than this, but I'm tired of talking to you about them drafting Spencer Fano. I don't want them to take Fano. You don't want them to take Fano. The text line gets mad anytime we suggest it. I'd rather just talk about something else. So I think there are 4 realistic paths for Kansas City. This is what I think they are. Number 1 is move up for David Bailey. This is the home run swing. I think David Bailey is the best defensive player in this draft class. I think when you factor in college production, what I think he could be in the National Football League, size, athleticism, skill set, I think when you factor all of those things in, I'd rather have him than Arvell Reese. I'd rather have him than Caleb Downs. Again, I think he is the best defensive player in this draft class. But maybe the NFL doesn't see it that way. I think Arvell Reese is going to go number 2 overall to the New York Jets. Well, if Arvell Reese goes number 2 overall and he possibly falls down the board, let's say he's there at 5. The Giants have clearly shown they're open for business. They've been open for business. They just traded a pick, got a pick last couple days ago. So could the Giants possibly trade back at 5 to 9 with Kansas City, gives themselves basically 16 minutes where they control the draft, 8 minutes for the 9th pick, 10 minutes for the 10th pick, or 8 minutes, and now you can really wheel and deal and just buy yourself some time? Is that something that the Giants want to have happen? So if you were asking me, we're almost done with all the hypotheticals, this is what I would want to happen. I would want David Bailey to fall down in the draft. I want the Chiefs to go up and go get David Bailey. I do not think that during the Patrick Mahomes era, there will ever be a point where I believe that the Chiefs realistically have a chance to get the best defensive player in the NFL draft. I think that is a possibility today if David Bailey is not selected number 2 overall to the New York Jets. So that's number 1. That's one path. I would say the second path is, Rob, they stay where they are and Ruben Bane is there at 9. The Chiefs don't have to move up. The Chiefs don't have to move down. The board is falling a certain way. Next thing you know, the Chiefs are on the clock. Ruben Bane is right there. He is a very talented prospect that fills a position of need for them. It is a match made in heaven, like hand in glove. So Ruben Bane is there at the 9th overall pick. They just select him. Home run swing is moving up for Bailey. They stay at 9, and they get Ruben Bane. The other 2 is they draft Caleb Downs. We might disagree on positional value, but I don't think we disagree on whether or not Caleb Downs will be a good player in the National Football League or not. I think he has a chance to be a very talented player in the National Football League. What if Caleb Downs goes on to have the career that Tyrann Mathieu had, but just with one organization? Because Tyrann bounced around a little bit. He was on the Cardinals, then the Chiefs, then the Texans, then this team, then the Saints. And what if Tyrann Mathieu just played 8 years in Kansas City? I think Caleb Downs could be Tyrann Mathieu. If that ends up being the case, you taking him with the 9th overall pick in this year's draft class is not the worst thing that can be. Now, I don't think that version of Tyrann Mathieu is the best player in this year's draft class. There will be teams that do way worse than getting that version of Tyrann Mathieu. So just you staying there and you getting Caleb Downs. The logic would be simple. We don't care about positional value in a traditional sense, which we know the Chiefs don't. We think that he has a chance to be the best defensive player in this draft class, so we took him. That makes sense to me. I would then say, Rob, the other path is they draft Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU. Same logic. We think he's the best corner in the NFL draft. The Chiefs are very rarely in a position where they can take the best corner in the NFL draft. We have done phenomenal with corners. This gives us the ability for a nice reset and continue a rookie contract. We had a rookie contract with Snead. We had a rookie contract with Trent McDuffie. We will continue a rookie contract with one of the more talented young corners in the National Football League. I think if you are realistically looking at this thing, I think those are the best 4 lanes for Kansas City. I think it is moving up for Bailey. They stay where they are for Bane. They stay where they are. They draft Downs. They stay where they are, and they draft Mansour Delane. Now, I would love for them to get Mekhi Lemon. I think he has a chance to be a very good receiver. There just hasn't been any smoke about the Chiefs and Mekhi Lemon. You've heard a lot of Ruben Bane, Kansas City talk. You've heard a lot of offensive line talk. There's not a lot of draft people that are really speculating that the Chiefs are super interested in Mekhi Lemon. There's been a little bit here and there, but it certainly hasn't reached the level, I think, of some other players. I don't think they're drafting Jordan Tyson. I think there's just too many injury concerns, and the fire is just so hot between the Giants and Tyson. I think ultimately that's where he's going to go, and they certainly have the assets to go get him with the 5th overall pick and also the 10th overall pick. Outside of that, I mean, we don't want him to draft an offensive lineman, so that takes the kid from Miami off the board. That also would take Fano off the board. I mean, that's kind of it if we are talking about realistically who they could potentially get somewhere between the 5th to, let's say they trade back to 12, for example. I think those are the best possible options, the best possible lanes for Kansas City.
First off, the way you start this out is the most accurate depiction of the draft. I'm going to be first-team All-American. Let's move the draft up. We don't need it at the end of April
anymore.
They ain't
doing that.
I know they're not doing that, but goodness gracious, we work ourselves into a tizzy with every single player. Remember when the Chiefs season ended and we were spending lots of time arguing about Jeremiah Love, and now here we sit talking about Spencer Fano. We've done too much with the draft. But you're right. I feel like the Chiefs have 4 glaring needs. And if you want to say 3 are glaring and one's, a little less than glaring, that's fine. But they have 4 needs once you laid out. They need an edge rusher. They do. Whether it's trade up for Reese, whether it's trade up for Bailey, whether it's stay put and get Bane, one of those things is happening tonight. They need a pass rusher. I don't think at 29 you're getting an elite one. That's just kind of how the draft works. But pass rusher, absolutely need. Corner, that's a need they created for themselves. But no offense to Noel Williams and Christian Fulton, they need a corner. Maybe it's not day one. Maybe it's not right now, but they need a corner. They also need a swing tackle offensive lineman type, which where all that buzz and draft and hoopla comes from. And then, as you mentioned, wide receiver. If they go outside of that grouping of 4 that you just laid out, it would really surprise me. The only player that's outside that grouping of 4 that I can see the Chiefs taking at 9 tonight, and I'd be like, well, that's not that big of a surprise because of his talent, is Caleb Downs. Outside of that, and we talked about this earlier in the process, we kind of know what the Chiefs are doing.
Hasn't really been a whole lot of smoke about Caleb Downs either.
Although Peter Schrager keeps saying his name. I just put a cut in the system where he says Caleb Downs again.
And maybe this is why the draft is so interesting to me. I feel like there's some things everybody is saying, and then every once in a while it'll be, oh, Albert Breer said this. Oh, Peter Schrager said this. Where I think everybody is getting their information from everywhere. So, for example, I had this a couple of days ago. I mean, I'm not Adam Schefter or anything, but I mean, I said this a couple of days ago. Somebody just texted me and just said, hey, all the rumors about Kansas City wanting to trade up is true. They really, really like Arvell Reese. And then on the day of the draft, Albert Breer comes out and says literally the same thing that I said on the show a couple of days ago. Hey, the Chiefs have real interest in Arvell Reese. They could potentially go up to get him. I don't think the Chiefs are nearly as unpredictable as we are painting it. I think the Chiefs, let me clarify. I think the Chiefs, when it comes to the big ticket items, are very, very predictable. We usually can tell what the Chiefs need, what they want, and we can usually guess who they are going to target to go out and get it. For example, a couple of years ago, when the Chiefs needed a wide receiver at the trade deadline, Rob, who'd they go get? DeAndre Hopkins. We've been talking about DeAndre Hopkins for a year and a half. They finally went out to go get him. When it came time to pay a corner in Trent McDuffie, Rob, do they ever pay corners? Well, what do? Did they surprise you at all? No, they traded Trent McDuffie the same way that they traded L'Jarius Sneed right before. When the Chiefs needed an offensive lineman, they went out and they drafted one in the first round with Josh Simmons. When we all knew they needed a wide receiver, they went to go get Xavier Worthy. Now, sure, sometimes they do this, and it's like, oh, but for the most part, whatever we think the Chiefs' number 1 or number 2 big ticket item is, they're usually very laser focused. It did not take a rocket scientist to know that the Chiefs really wanted a running back in this year's free agency class, and they were going to go get ETN, Breece Hall, or Kenneth Walker. One of those 3 guys were going to be in Kansas City. Well, what do you know? First day of free agency, they go out and get Kenneth Walker, and they give him the 4th highest paid running back contract in the history of the National Football League. I don't think the Chiefs are that hard to figure out. The Chiefs are drafting a defensive player with the first selection that they have. Now, at 29, they can do anything at 29. But for that 9th overall pick, Andy, who values defensive line, Andy, who values the trenches, I think they're moving up to either go get David Bailey, or I think Bane will be sitting there at the 9th overall pick, and I think they will select him. I think they're going defensive line today.
I agree. I think they're going defensive line. I think I'm standing as someone who literally has a FanDuel ticket on them going defensive line. I am all with you on defensive line. I just think because the draft always gets weird and the Chiefs are in a unique position in the top 10, there's a chance they get a little more shocking than we're used to. Those years you mentioned, those things you mentioned, were kind of plug and play. This year, they're in a little bit different spot. They have a little bit more needs. When you talk about they traded for DeAndre Hopkins, well, they had one thing they really needed at the deadline. When they, got Josh Simmons, there was one glaring weakness on the team. Right now, for better or worse, you can be the most diehard Chiefs fans. You can be listening to the show right now, One Arrowhead Drive. You guys know there's more than one need on this team right now. We can disagree on the amount, but there's more than one. So I think they have a chance to be a little bit shocking this year, where in years past, it felt like this is the only path this team will take, and they tend to take that path. At 9, all 4 or 5 of the things you laid out, I think are believable, but not a lot of times we go in the draft saying there's 5 different scenarios for the Chiefs, which is why I think we could see ourselves with a little bit of shock value tonight.
Well, I mean, I think that ends up being the case. I just think where they normally end up picking, it's hard for us to 100% pinpoint. I'm sorry, it's hard to predict who you're going to pick at 31. Like, so many things can change on the back half of it. Number one, there aren't that many players to me that we think are even good enough to be considered to be picked in the top 10. There's probably 12 to 13 in this year's draft class? Like, who is a player, Rob, that you would be just stunned? Like, I think we have a pretty good range of players that we feel pretty confident they're going to go in the top 10 today. Now, maybe that McCoy kid ends up being the first corner taken, and we've been talking about Delane. But, I mean, there's 2 possible offensive linemen. I think we know who the pass rushers are that could potentially go. We know the running back's going to go. Caleb Downs going to go. We think that Jordan Tyson. Like, I just don't think there's that many possible options of players that we think are good enough to be selected in this year's top 10. So I think that narrows it down to a more realistic, who is your team going to target? There's going to be some guys that are just off the board. For example, I don't think the Chiefs will ever have a chance at Cardinal Tate. Now, maybe they could trade up, but I haven't really seen any reason to make me think that the Chiefs are trading up for a wide receiver in this year's draft class. If anything, I think the reports have come out to tell you that they don't think that wide receiver is nearly as dire as the rest of us think. At least based on their words, what they've said. Oh, well, since Rice isn't going to be suspended, we don't see this as big of a need. So I just think there's so much momentum towards them taking a defensive lineman, which lines up. Because I think if you mapped it out, I think defensive line right now is their number one need. I would put corner pretty quickly after it, but I think right now the biggest need on the Chiefs is defensive line. You got a chance to go get a starter today in the draft. I think they're going to take that opportunity.
I will agree with you on this. At 9, I think at 9 and 29, they need starters, but at 9, they need an impact starter. So whether that is Delane, whether that is Ruben Bane, whether that is trade up for Arvell Reese, at 9, we cannot walk away being like he's a rotational player who shows some flashes. He can't be Ashton July. He can't be Noel Williams, whoever he is at 9. It needs to be a plug and play, you're the starter type of energy, which is why I have been screaming for the last, feels like 6 months now, basically since Christmas, when the Chiefs moved to Kansas and were eliminated from the playoffs. Hey, edge rush, edge rush, edge rush. Here we sit 90-ish minutes away. Please be an edge rusher.
Text line 913-586-7965. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really excited to be here. We are going to be at the Brooksider later today watching the NFL Draft. So basically when we get off the air, get in the car, driving down to the Brooksider, we'll be locked in watching the NFL Draft. You want to come by, you want to say hi, you want to talk draft, you want to take pictures, shake hands, eat, whatever you want to do. We will be there hanging out We will be there for the duration of the first round. It's actually going to go by kind of quick this year. We went from there being 15 minutes in between selections to 10 minutes in between selection. They're down to 8 now for the NFL draft. So I think it is going to be noticeable that this thing is going to be moving today. And you are going to see this thing move and the trades coming in. I think it's going to be a much more exciting television prospect coming up later today. All right, Rob, let's shout out the sponsors and then we'll keep talking draft.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
The hits are brought to you by the Salvation Army. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for the Salvation Army Civic Lunch taking place on May 7th.
Can I play hit number 1 for you guys? Did you guys hear that Stephen A. Smith shouted me out? Yes, that's Stephen A. Smith. That's what you referred to him as. He's Stevie to me. Big Steve. You know, that's who he is. So for those of you that don't know, in my free time, my part-time job is I work for SiriusXM or for Mad Dog Sports Radio. So Stephen A. Smith, he was out a couple days ago. They asked me if I wanted to fill in. I'm like, sure, of course. Happy to fill in for the legend. Happy to fill in for the GOAT. Lamar Odom, who was on crack. Happy to do it. I didn't even know this happened. My group chat yesterday was exploding. Did you see this? Carrington, did you see this? I mean, I have to share it with you, Rob. This is hit number 1.
Now, welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show. Coming at you as I love to do. Every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My man, Carrington Harrison, to fill in yesterday for me. I just love it when he fills in. He does an outstanding job. Got a lot of love for him. Really, really appreciate him. He's based out of Kansas City. He does a hell of a job, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a star in this industry. He's really good people as well. I just love the job that he does on radio. And I'm always proud when I hear him filling in for me. But let me tell you something right now. Even he couldn't put me in a good mood today.
I mean, we'll get back to the NFL draft. We'll get back to hit number 2. Am I allowed to call Stephen A. Smith friend of the show? Second question is, do you think that Stephen A. Smith knows my last name? Because I think he just messed up. That happens sometimes. That's not the first time I've been called Carrington Harrington. Certainly by somebody who, could be the president of the United States,
It's crazy that sentence actually has
validity.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Yeah. You don't think he can be the president of the United States? I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I didn't think so before that clip. Now I think so.
He won your vote
That's
over.
What we need. We need a man with integrity. That's what we need. We need a man who can unify the country. You know who can do that? Stephen A. is who we need.
I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I do think he knows your name. I think you got tongue-tied on your name.
Yeah,
though.
That's what I think, too. That's what I think.
I do think it's funny that that's the last part of that cut is the most Stephen A. thing ever. Now, he's great, but even he couldn't fix my mood.
Yeah. Well, just
Nick's got him down.
I'm telling you, that's my guy, Stevie. I do think that Stephen A. will be on the show. I've been working towards Stephen A. Once we know the NBA draft lottery, I will work to get Stephen A. on the show. Like, we don't want Stephen A. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have to tell you. You want Stephen A. or you want more stadium talk? Because something tells me that in June we will not be talking a lot of Royals baseball. They haven't done a lot so far that would make me think in June we're gonna have a lot of Royals topics. So I hope you're ready for some good old-fashioned radio bits. That's what we got planned once this draft is over. Once this draft is over, I got nothing but radio bits planned and vacation time planned. That's what we got.
We really need KU baseball to make the College World Series. That's where we're sitting at right now.
That's not a part of my life. I don't know what you're talking about.
We need it bad. This show, big fans.
Yeah, I just can't wait to just have a sports doctor on June to get an update on Patrick Mahomes' knee. That's the kind of stuff we're going to have to do. Hey, Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL on this day. We're now 7 months removed. What does that mean for his knee? That's the kind of summer we're headed towards. Bobby Witt, you did this. Vinny Pasquantino, you did this. Jack Caglione, you did this. That's not the summer I had planned.
Great news for the show. Big movie summer. So a lot of reviews coming your way.
for sure. Absolutely. All right, back to the NFL draft. Hit number 2, serious things. I think this is a under-discussed topic about round 1 early NFL draft. I don't know how the Chiefs feel about Jalen Moore other than they paid him. I mean, they also paid Christian Fulton, and Christian Fulton could not get on the field until they started playing preseason games. They did not let Christian Fulton play when he could possibly mess things up. They started playing him when the season was over. They kind of did the same thing with Jalen Moore. Like, he didn't start, but hey, this guy's not at work today. You know what? He was the Carrington Harrison for the Josh Simmons show. That's who he was. Whenever the regular host was out, that's who Jalen Moore is. He was the fill-in host. See how I brought that full circle? We will know exactly how the Chiefs feel about Jalen Moore on Saturday morning. If the Chiefs draft Spencer Fano today, they told me how they feel about Jalen Moore. They think he stinks. If they draft an offensive lineman with the 29th overall pick, you cannot have the needs that the Chiefs have at wide receiver, at corner, at all of these different positions, and then tell me that you were drafting an offensive lineman that's going to sit for you in year one and be ready for 2027. No, that's not how this works. We will know exactly how they feel about Jalen Moore on Saturday morning. If they don't take an offensive lineman until the 5th round, it's not realistic to think that that guy's going to start for you day one at tackle. If they take an offensive lineman with the 40th overall pick, he needs to be playing week one. If they take an offensive lineman, I would say it's 74. I also don't think you're in a position where you're using the 74th overall pick. They got 4 picks in the top 75. I'm thinking about impact. I'm thinking home run with that first pick, and then I'm trying to hit a double, and I'm trying to get a solid starter at a position that really impacts the field. I'm trying to find a corner that we think can project to be a number one. I'm trying to find a safety that can be a plug-and-play guy that we can build our defense around. I'm trying to find a guy that can get after and disrupt the quarterback. If they take an offensive lineman with one of their first 4 selections, it will tell me exactly how they feel about Jalen Moore.
Would you be upset if with that first selection it is Spencer Fano? Because that would be the ultimate indictment on Jalen Moore is they think we have to use our top 10 asset because he's so mediocre. Would you walk away being like, oh, that makes sense. They had to do it. Or would you walk away frustrated by Spencer Fano at 9?
I mean, I won't be frustrated about Spencer Fano. And I know we're up against it. I would not be frustrated. But the time to play devil's advocate is over. We don't need more draft topics at this point. In fact, we need fewer draft topics at this point. I do not want them to take an offensive lineman with the number or with their first pick. I want them to take a defensive lineman. If they take Spencer Fano with the 9th overall pick, it is telling all of us we missed big time last year with Jalen Moore. We are now fixing our mistake. Let's talk more about that because I actually don't want the Chiefs to select at 74. We'll talk about that next. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
Your off-season home for everything Chiefs football.
Talking about the top story, the Chiefs, they have a new offensive coordinator.
96.5, The Fan.
Royals coverage is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
Brought to you by Blue KC is the Coaches with Character program. Do you know a rock star high school coach in your district? Nominate them for the Blue KC Coaches with Character program at bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character. Let's make our coaches feel special and make our community a better place to live, work, and play.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out, leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do. Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer. Jack got suckered. Make sure you aren't hung out to dry. Call our dad at Rex Buys KC. Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals. No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises. Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process. Now, don't be like Jack. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com SportsBettingTipps.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
When Bill Lambert started Midwest Heating, he realized something very quickly. The most important thing a customer can give you isn't their money, it's their trust. I'm Airman for Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Midwest and Lennox are now offering up to $1,400 rebates on high-efficiency home comfort systems and 0% 60-month financing with approved credit on these qualifying Lennox systems. Every day, we strive to meet the highest standards in the industry, yours. But we are human. If we make a rare mistake, we make it right, and right away. That's what Bill instilled in all of us. Now, the third generation stands on the shoulders of the past, improves on it, and passes it on to the next. Give us the chance to earn your business. Just dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
For all the things you have to do and places you need to be, let Uber take you there. Because you had just one more 3 rounds ago. Because the 5 a.m. flight seemed like a good idea at the time. Because check engine lights always appear at the worst possible times. And because parking downtown is a nightmare. Because there are nights out, airport trips, and car troubles in your area, there are drivers in your area. Uber. Request a ride today. Wait time varies. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. 96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Crash working now for 35 northbound just before Stadium Drive. Left lane is blocked by a 2-car crash. And then, let's see, just below that, 435 southbound before 350 highway. Scoot to the left, there's a stalled semi blocking part of the right lane. 2-car crash near downtown, 35 southbound before 70, left lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Now, I know Rob is going to disagree. But I don't want the Chiefs to pick at 74. The Chiefs, let me give you their draft order in case you forgot. So the Chiefs have the 9th overall pick, 29th, 40th, 74, 109, 148, 169, 176, 210. So they have 9 selections in total. I don't want them to make that 3rd round pick. Now, I understand You would go from 40 to 109 without selecting a player. A lot can change. A lot can happen. We all know that. I think the Chiefs are in a very, very unique spot to think big. If they're willing to give up pick 74, maybe you stay at 9 and you get Bane, and then you're willing to package 29 and 74, and you go up and you get Omar Cooper, the wide receiver from Indiana. Maybe you're willing to package 40 and 74, and you think that can get you to 35, and you can take one of the best prospects in day 2 of the NFL draft. Whatever it is, I'm looking at 74 as an asset and a tool to move up to get yourself a more premium asset. So getting a potential top 5 pick from 9, that's worth it to me. To move from 29 to, let's say you move up to pick 22, it's a different kind of prospect you get at 22 than you can get at 29. The board is radically different at 22 than it is at 29. I really want them to dangle 74 out there as an ability to move up, especially because we know those opportunities are going to be there. Rob, everybody that we've heard from says that a majority of teams in the NFL want to move back. Well, somebody's got to want to move up in the draft class in order for that to happen. So let's identify at 21 who we potentially like, and let's go get them, and let's go get a day 1 defensive starter. Let's go get a day 1 corner potentially. Let's go get a day 1 wide receiver that you think can help, and have 2 massive swings the same way that they did a few years ago when they got Trent McDuffie and they got George Karlaftis in the first round.
I would look at it a little differently for this reason. They already have 2 existing draft picks where you can get 2 starters immediately. You can actually do 3. 9, 29, and 40. There is nothing stopping you from taking starters at all 3 of those positions. I would be actively working on that if I'm Brett Veach. So in a draft where I feel like you have so many needs on the roster, I'm not giving up picks in the 3rd round to do some first-round maneuvering. I'm not giving up a chance at another good player. A 3rd-round pick is a good player for a better first-round player. I'm not sacrificing, hey, maybe we find a safety that's better than Jaden Hicks. Maybe we find a defensive tackle that makes Tonga a rotational type of guy. I'm not doing that to have a shot at, oh, man, we got Denzel Boston at 20. What a win. That's not how I would operate with the amount of needs the Chiefs have in this upcoming draft. And you know what? Me and you can just disagree about the amount of needs. I think they have a decent amount, and I'm not giving up day 1, day 2 assets to move around.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, I don't disagree with you that they have needs. I 100% agree with you. I 100% agree. But maybe this is where I'm different than everybody else. C-Dot, you're saying we don't need more picks, we need better picks. Go for big impact because most of the guys we've been picking are medium impact. Exactly. Thank you. Text line, you hear me, you see me. That's what I'm saying. I don't disagree with what Rob is saying. Get starters, yes. Everybody is in the NFL draft looking to get starters. You know how you win championships in the National Football League? You get stars, not just starters. Starters are good to have, of course. You're not going to win it with 3-4 guys. But, man, this team won championships and became a dynasty because they selected a Hall of Famer at quarterback. They got a Hall of Famer on the defensive line in Chris Jones. They turned Tyreek Hill into a potential Hall of Famer. They drafted Travis Kelce, who was a Hall of Famer. They used the picks that they got from trading Tyreek Hill to turn it around and draft an All-Pro. The Chiefs need an infusion of the future is what they need. They need an infusion of guys that are going to be the stars when they move to a new stadium. That's what they need. They need the who's going to be the pass rusher that's an all-pro in year 1 of the new stadium because he's a certified, legitimate, one of the top defensive players. That's what they used to have. That's what Chris Jones was. That's why he's been given 2 contracts by one organization. That's what Travis Kelce is. That's why he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's what Tyreek Hill was, another player that they were happy to give a 3rd contract to before his demands got too high. So I think we're all on the same page. Nobody is saying that you don't want to come out and get starting caliber players in the draft. Of course, that's the floor, what I think you're trying to do. But if you're trying to have the conversation about this organization and getting Mahomes to 4, 5, 6 Super Bowl rings, then you got to continue to find the Vince Wilforks. You got to continue to find the Rob Gronkowskis. He didn't have Gronk when he won his first couple of championships. He had him there at the end. You had those kind of, you had Gilmore at the end. You had those players at the end. So that's what I'm saying is it's all good to find the guys that, no, you got to continue to find stars, impact, all-pro kind of players. And for a lot of the good things that I think Brett Veach has done, he has not drafted a whole lot of those kinds of players.
Here's the thing, though, and this is where me and you differ. You're allowed to find big impact guys from not big impact positions in the draft. You mentioned Rob Gronkowski. He was not a first-round pick for the New England Patriots. That would be considered a medium impact zone for you in the text line. They found a star. They found a dog there. You mentioned Brett Veach has not been able to do it. His second-round picks a couple of years ago were Nick Bolton and Creed Humphrey. I know they're not high positional value, but they are both great players in their position. For sure. You're allowed to, outside of round one, find dogs. I know we all hyper-focus on round one, and I get why. But I'm not giving up pick 74 because you know pick 74 could be Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce was a third-round pick.
100%.
It also could be Sky Moore. I understand the risk, but that risk exists at every position in the NFL draft. Mendoza could be Ryan Leaf. He could be Peyton Manning. We don't know. That's just the yin and the yang of the draft. So for me, I'm not moving around to get the idea of bigger impact positions earlier in the draft because then you don't have the safety net of later. I would just try to find guys who can make a big impact from other positions in the draft, which to your point, Veach hasn't done well recently, but he has done in the past. I have seen it happen. It can happen again.
This is just where I don't know if I see it differently than everybody else. And I get it. We all overvalue draft picks. We all overvalue or undervalue cap space. Either the salary cap really matters or the salary cap is not real. In the end, we are talking about one of the most results-oriented thing that you can do. Quite literally, nobody cares about the process. Nobody cares about the process. For example, we use the blackjack analogy. Sometimes in blackjack, you can play blackjack 100% correct and still lose. And you're not mad about it. I mean, you're frustrated you lost the money, but hey, what could you do in this scenario? I had a 12 against a 10. I hit. I got another 10. You're not staying at 12. You lost in that scenario. There, I think you care about the process. No one cares about the process in the NFL. Did you win or did you lose? Did you get the pick right or wrong? We don't go back and think, oh, well, I mean, they got great value in the fourth round, or, I mean, they didn't move up in round 3. No, in the end, you know what we see? We see the 7 players that you actually selected. Did you get it right, and did you get it wrong? So that's what I'm saying in here. I get the point that you're making. If you got more picks, you got more chances to get it right. But to me, this team doesn't need more Leo Chenals. You know what they need? They need more impact kind of players that change games. And they need those guys between the ages of 22 and 25. They just don't have enough of those players right now, in my opinion. And you got a chance to get those. This is the best place to get them today. Today and tomorrow are the best places to go get those kind of players that I'm talking about, certainly at the price that you would want to pay. Coming up on the other side, we're going to go around with our draft experts. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Located in KC and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Start your new chapter with a bang. Whether you're celebrating your upcoming graduation or getting hitched, Centerfire has a shooting experience for you. We're the only 5-star indoor shooting range in KC, and our staff will make your shooting experience one to remember. We've got a bachelor party and full auto experience that will get your blood pumping. From new shooters to seasoned vets, our professional staff will create a one-of-a-kind experience for you. Visit centerfireshootingsports.com to book online or come in and try one today.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER.
Vicky Stevens writes, "We weren't happy with the way things turned out last season, so I made the call. Weedman's been a total game changer. Fertilization, weed control, the whole 9 yards. Our lawn has never looked better. The neighbors are so jealous, they avoid me at the supermarket. It's fantastic. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get 1 free service."
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Introducing Bluebell Pro, a dessert with up to 12 grams of protein and 110 calories or less per serving. Low fat, no added sugars, and gluten-free. Dig into a pint. It's more than just protein. It's Bluebell Pro. Never has high protein tasted so good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream in your local grocer. If you can't find it, ask for it.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We still got the 2-car crash working 9 Highway northbound at Heart of America Bridge. Right lane is blocked and big backups. I see red all through downtown. We've got the crash 635 southbound up at K5 southbound. Right lane is blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let me play this audio for you. Here is Peter Schrager. He believes that the Chiefs, they are priming themselves to get a day one starter in the top 10.
Kansas City is going to be at 9, and they're going to be watching how the landscape falls and goes to them. I think there's a great interest in Mansour Delane, the defensive back out of LSU. I think Caleb Downs is very interesting to them, and I think Jordan Tyson and Carnell Tate could be very good as well. But pass rusher has been a piece, so that's why you're seeing them linked to maybe moving up for Arvell Reese or maybe moving up for David Bailey. I would be surprised they moved up to the top 5 for either one of those players, just based on what it would cost to get up there. But that 9 pick, Kansas City is primed and ready to get a player that can help right away and then use the 29 pick to maybe take a bigger swing and get an offensive weapon if they don't land one of the top wide receivers and do it there. But Kansas City feels great about their draft board right now. And at 9 and 29, they can get one of the blue chip players and maybe take a bit of a swing at 29.
That is Peter Schrager of ESPN. So I'm going to go through here, and we had a lot of draft people on. We'll have a lot of draft people on next week as well. A lot of these same people will be on to just recap once we actually know who they select. So one of the big topics with Ruben Bane is arm length. That matters to me. Now, I'm not going to make it seem like I'm the biggest draft pundit. I can't tell you what the shuttle cone, I can't tell you how that translates. I have no clue. But what I do know is if every NFL draft person is telling me, hey, when we measure this, no player who met these measurements did these things, my ears perk up a little bit. You're telling me that no player with arms as short as Ruben Bane has made the Pro Bowl this century. You're telling me with no player with arms this size have made the Pro Bowl. I don't know. That just sticks out to me. Had double-digit sacks. That stuff matters to me. We asked Matt Miller, does he have any concern about that? Here's what he said.
As of right now, going back to 1999, he would have the 6th shortest arms of any edge drafted. So you worry about that. And again, there's not a precedent where you could say, oh, well, if he had this, he'll have that, and you can look at him and say, hey, he's a powerful player. He's got that build where he played at about 275 pounds. I know he measured in at 263, but he has that pop in his pads. He has that leverage. He controls guys really well when he gets his hands into them. But I look at the Kansas City defense and it's like, okay, is this the guy that you're going to put opposite Karlaftis and next to Jones that's going to command teams to respect the outside speed? And I don't think so, because when you are short armed, you're going to struggle using whatever quickness you have. And I think quickness is the weakness to his game, right? That's other than length. He's not incredibly bendy and twitchy coming off the edge. He's more of a power player.
So that was Matt Miller talking about Ruben Bane. Here is Nate Taylor. He was on the midday show, and he said that the Chiefs, they might go double defensive line in the first round.
They might still be interested even if they address that position in the draft. There's nothing wrong with double dipping. There's nothing wrong with going youth and veteran as a way to, just mitigate some things or just have some more insurance.
That was Nate Taylor earlier today on the midday show. Here is a couple of NFL draft experts. The first one, Tom Pelissero. There's a lot of rumor, a lot of smoke if the Chiefs could move up in the draft.
At 3 and 4 with the Cardinals and the Titans. Both teams, from my understanding, are open to trading. And there are other teams in the top 10 that have at least checked in on what it would take to move up. The Saints, who are at 8, are interested in moving up in the draft. The Chiefs at 9. Could that be for Arvell Reese if he's not the number 2 overall pick? Could that be for the top offensive tackle? Those would both make sense for those teams. Second trade pocket right in the middle of round 1. There's going to be an offensive tackle run. Everybody expects the Lions sitting there at 17. Everyone knows what their need is. If you want your preferred tackle and it's not one of those guys going right at the top, get above them. Go to 15 or 16. See if you can get something done.
That was Tom Pelissero. Here's Todd McShay.
Kansas City's 9. I'm hearing this edge, Bane if available, or wide receiver, Tyson if available.
No offensive tackle.
But Andy's saying we got to get that. We got to address that. So
maybe
I guess
they feel like they can move up a little bit at the end of the first round. I don't know.
That would be my guess.
Okay.
Is that we then make a move to go up if you're Kansas City.
So that was Todd McShay. Rob, let me tell you just a handful of the bets that I have for today, because I got to do it on the Kansas side. So this is what I have. I have Ty Simpson to be drafted by the Rams. I have Ty Simpson under 29.5. I do think he gets picked in the first round. I have Ruben Bane to be a top 10 pick at minus 135. I took a swing also at exact order for the top 5. Mendoza, Arvell Reese, David Bailey, Jeremiah Love, Caleb Downs. That was 20-1 to be the top 5 picks in the NFL draft. So, I mean, I put a small wager. I'm not seeming like I was out here betting big, but I placed a couple of small wagers today for the draft.
The Ty Simpson ones, what's the odds on that one? That's going to be a big swing.
Plus 700.
You've been all over Ty Simpson from the beginning.
I do like Ty Simpson as a prospect.
If he's the prospect you say he is, I think the Cardinals are trading back to get him. I don't know the Rams are going to be able to take him.
Yeah, I mean, I can look at. You know what? If he goes with the 23rd overall pick, that's fine too. It'll even out. I had a lot of fun today. Hopefully you guys had a lot of fun as well. Hope to see you out at the Brooksider. Rob and I are going to be there probably the next 20, 30 minutes or so. We'll get situated, get something to eat, get locked in for the NFL draft. I'm really excited about today's draft because, honestly, after Mendoza, I have no clue what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait to break it down with you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's the